Hello to your cats. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, 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 chat. How are we doing this fine morning, evening / afternoon? It is your boy Hugo. I am back for this weekend. We are streaming today and we are streaming tomorrow. It's still daytime outside. You usually don't see me with this much lighting directed at me. It's because summer is here, and with summer, the days are longer. I always forget just how longer the days become or how shorter they become during the winter. Like here, it's light out up until like 8 p.m. And during winter, it's dark out by 5:30. I don't know how it's like in your beautiful part of the world, but that's the way it is here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope all of you are doing okay. Today we have a regular episode, but spiced up. Mucho, mucho nice. We will be interviewing Poki Preet and talking about the ceasefire that apparently lasted exactly 3 hours between India and Pakistan. A very, very dear comrade and friend of the show who's going to be joining us in exactly 1 hour and 10 minutes. But up until then, we're going to do the classic thing we do here, cover particular topics and dissect them through content consumption. I think I'm on month 5, 6, no booze. Good for you, good for you. I'm on hour 3 with no booze. I had a beer earlier. I went to this ridiculously good Serbian restaurant with a British friend of mine and my girlfriend. It was fucking fabulous. I had this like giant meat patty. I think it's called. It's called pljeskavica. That was filled with urnebes. Urnebes is this like cheesy, spicy thing. Then it had like these super spicy peppers. Then this like grilled bread that's like, completely covered in animal oil and like spice on top as well. It was fucking glorious. Okay. My heart is still going do-do-do-do-do-do-do simply from the immense amount of cholesterol I consumed in those past few hours. But yeah, now I'm well fed. I don't think I'll eat until the end of the day, to be honest. So just a Russian burger, maybe. Being a raw carrot is pretty good. Yeah, be healthy, be good. But not only are we starting out this month, because I'm basically starting out this month, even though it's the 10th, here with the streams, not only are we doing something very interesting and different today with our interview of Poki Preet, but on top of that, guess what is back? The 10 gift subs equal 15 gift subs is back, because I might love money, but I hate ads more. We got to do something about hitting that potential sub goal and making this show sustainable. Otherwise, to an extent, I will have to scrap even more and more time out of it in order to do all the 20 different projects I'm doing with my boys. So I'm trying to motivate it to grow through this financial suicide to an extent, right? Which Barry immediately, very, very proud supported. Jesus, why does he say it so many times? Crazy hamburger, we fucking got it. Thank you, fucking Barry. I forgot how to do this. Okay, so I go in here, and then I do +5, and then I give you another 5, right? This is how it's supposed to work. Let me see if it's still... Yes, it is! Paint the chat purple, paint the chat purple. We are back with the 10 gift subs equal 15. So if you ever felt like it throughout today's stream, please do so. Thank you, Barry, for single-handedly carrying the show. Now, I thought about starting with a new good work video. It's been like 700 years since we watched a good work video. So let's start out with it. The mysterious industry cranking out billionaires. I think they're talking about private credit. Afterwards, we're going to talk about the story plenty of you have probably heard about, and that's that they're creating new financial systems through which you can afford food, because they're realizing that eventually we're not going to be able to afford absolutely anything. So loan systems for your Duner or your gyros or your pizza that you're trying to get on a relatively depressing Sunday evening. Uh, double Hugo? The fuck? Let me move this. Now I should be fine. Thank you. I don't know. OBS fucking hates me. Thank you very, very much. Chillo for the 16-month sub. Goat. No, you're the goat. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's going to be the next video. Then we're going to talk about maybe some Bernie rallies, etc., etc. And then Pokey Preto is going to come on. We're going to talk about India, Pakistan, and that whole incredibly long ceasefire. But not only that, we're going to talk about his takes on Ethan, on Bad Empanada. I'm going to try and start some shit, basically. I'm going to try and start some good old shit. But let's start out with good work. Because, as I very often say, they do some good work.
Billionaire is created, I get a tattoo of their face on my chest. So when I had to get inked up 18 times over the last decade to celebrate a bunch of guys who became...
Thank you, Terkas, for the gift sub. Now we are 9 gift subs away from another 5. Thank you very much. Always...
subscriber.
Just as a reminder, they stack. Now my audio is doubling on my end. I don't fucking know.
Off of a mysterious new darling of finance called private credit. I just knew something was afoot. So afoot that it's got the rest of Wall Street fighting for a turn at the money hose. And of course, a coveted spot next to my right nipple. So what's this thing that's getting everyone rich now? Huh?
Thank you, Breda MT. L for the gift sub. And now we are on a hype train. It's too early in the show for us to immediately do the Chinese thing, but the Chinese TikTok, but let's go.
I started my investigation by watching what's well known to be the horniest media outlet we got spinning today.
Usually I do Chinese TikTok when there's a hype train, but it seemed at the start of the episode, so I'll give you Chinese TikTok a bit later. Does that make sense? That makes sense.
Bloomberg.
Private credit remains the hottest market.
Private credit is kind of the sexiest story on the street.
It's very sexy.
Private credit. It's like the hottest thing on the street.
Private credit is so hot.
Private credit.
You know, chat, you're the hottest thing on the street. Fucking shade.
Is looking more attractive.
Private credit is getting so hot.
Private credit is really attractive.
Private credit is an
For public credit.
industry really has come of age.
Sup, Robo? You're not late. We literally started, my friend.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who finds this arousing. Seeing words like explosive growth, mega deals, shadow banking, and not a bubble just give me a tingle in my journalists. But like most times I'm aroused, I'm also deeply confused.
It's really simple. Even credit, for a lot of viewers, that sounds kind of weird. Finance speak. It's just funds making loans.
Confused.
It's really simple.
Yo, what the fuck? 1,000 bits in this bitch making that hype train go chi the fuck chi.
Credit for
Did you say fuck? Did you do it by accident? Too late now, motherfucker.
Viewers, that sounds kind of weird.
No, it's not. Thank you, buddy. Back.
And finance speak. It's just funds making loans to businesses. And that's all it is. And there's nothing really that sexy about it.
Speak for yourself, Robert Smith, corporate finance editor at the Financial Times. Some of us are attracted to highly profitable businesses and would love to get to know them better.
Essentially, private credit is just a loan being made, usually to a pretty risky company, a highly indebted one, from a non-bank. So sometimes they call it non-bank lending, and it's an almost $2 trillion market. And it's up almost 10 times what it was right before the financial crisis.
Maureen Farrell is a...
Jesus Christ, so they're just fucking laundering money inside of private corporations without having to step out of the snake eating its own ass. Who would have thunk that capital reproduces itself?
Reporter for the New York Times.
Yeah, like legal loan sharks, exactly. Do legal loan sharks exist where you live? They kind of exist here. We call them fast credit. It's basically very large corporations that are ready to give loans to absolutely anybody, but at a very, very, very steep price, right? So you don't have to have, proof of income or anything. Yeah, banks exist here. Yeah, but banks on steroids. They ask for no proof of income. They pretty much come into your house, or they check your whatever type of bicycle, car, fucking chair you have, and they make sure that everything is put in contract to be signed over to them. in case you don't pay on time. And, you know, if an interest rate from a bank is 4%, 5%, 6%, these guys have 15, 20 stackable interest rates. So 100% legal. Loan sharks that prey on the most impoverished people in whatever country you happen to be in. Sorry, sir, no loan for you. Your bicycle is stolen.
Times covering Wall Street.
Before the great financial crisis in 2008, you could essentially go to a bank for...
Does that exist where you guys are at? Like fast credit. That's what we call it here.
A pretty risky loan. Afterwards, because of all the regulations around banks, it became a lot trickier for banks to go take money from depositors and put it in a risky loan. They were worried about companies not paying it back.
That's why private
They
credit
were worried about not causing a crisis of such magnitude that we are still living with the consequences. 40 seconds left of Hype Train. Let's make that guy nice and above average at a nice, decent 7 is what I'm saying. And for every 10 gift subs, I give another 5. 30 seconds left, you motherfuckers.
credit firms like Apollo, Ares, Blue Owl, and Oaktree swooped in from outside the traditional banking system and offered to lend to these risky businesses in exchange for some hefty interest rates.
Jesus Christ, ZFIH literally taking a long, strong, thick piece of bread and shoving it in my mouth. Then I take it out, all wet and slippery, and I shove it back into chat's mouth with another 10 gift subs, motherfucker. Thank you, Zifi, and thank you, Mortal, for 9 months. Let's fucking go. Why am I making everything sexual? No, I'm not. You're the weird one. It's not me. Oh my God.
Rates and fees. This is making them rich as hell, and all those clams are attracting young professionals to private credit like a moth to moth food.
They are getting top talent, these firms now. People are graduating from Wharton or Harvard or MIT, and rather than saying, I want to go work for Goldman, they're saying, I want to go work for Apollo, or I want to go work for Blue Owl.
Matt Wirtz is a reporter covering credit for the Wall Street Journal.
Isn't that fucking hilarious? Like, you don't need to be this level of an expert on these things. Okay, Jesus, this thing is loud. Basically, companies registered as banks have additional laws that make... Okay, no, I'm killing this. The fuck is this? I hate this fucking OBS. I swear to fucking God. Okay. Basically, when you're operating a bank, you need to follow particular regulations that ascribe to means through which you can give out money, receive money, keep money, manage money, etc., etc. But what if, these guys literally said, what if we just create a private company that is not defined as a bank and do literally the same thing? Well, you can just do it because anybody can create a private entity that gives out money, apparently. The markets were sexualizing being paid first. Here's some bits to drip down Yugo's chin. Thank you.
Recently, I was in Hudson Yards, which is this like fancy new kind of office area. And I was on the escalator and the woman in front of me had... Basically...
The whole conversation is, Jesus Christ, Zifi, you fucking G. Thank you for the 500 biddies. Dude, it's like, trust me, bro. I'm definitely not a bank, bro. Said the CEO of Definitely Not Bank LLC. That's the whole fucking shtick. They literally just said, what if we just say that we're not a bank, but then do the same bank shit with other corporations and give them out loans and give them out money. Thank you, Vian, for the prime sub for 4 months. Level 8, holy shit, it's getting fucking thick and throbbing in here. Jesus Christ.
A backpack, and it was one of those like swag backpacks. It was a nice one. I think it was an Osprey, and it had a Blue Owl logo on it.
That's right, nothing announces the arrival of a Wall Street titan like a fresh new bougie hiking backpack. Fuck your JanSport. And it seems like all these guys are making a decent amount.
Yugo, I've been edging for the last few days. How many days in a row do I have to edge before I am gooning?
Oh my fucking... Oh my God, what is going on? Jesus Christ, you guys are awesome. Fuck you, I love you, you pieces of shit. What the fuck is happening? It's fucking raining today. It's glitching my whole system. Thank you, Zifi. Thank you, Terkas. Thank you. What the fuck? It's not about how many days in a row. It's about how many times during a single day you are gooning. If you edge or goon, if you basically nut 3 times in a day, you're a gooner. Jesus, a guard.
Crazy hamburger! Crazy hamburger!
Okay, I'm having some serious delays in this shit. Okay, thank you, Zifi. Thank you, Agard. Thank you, Vian. I'm losing count. Okay, we're at 30 gift subs. That means I need to give you 15 gift subs. Jesus fucking Christ. Oh my god, the system, you're literally breaking my chat. What the fuck? I mean, thank you, don't stop, but you're like... Okay, I'm gonna have to go into dashboard. Oh my god. Oh Lord, have mercy. Lord, have mercy on my soul. Tipping, panel maker, all widgets. Oh my god.
Wonderful, a new child soldier. Subscriber.
Alert, audio in, stream, sub goal. Christ. No,
Wonderful, a
alert
new child
box.
soldier. Subscriber.
Okay, alert duration, audio, not follow, subscriptions. I will
Wonderful,
make
a new
it
child soldier. Subscriber.
like this. Not as loud, and then I'll figure it out later. Thank you, you pieces of shit! Jesus Christ, asking Prince, let's fucking go! Are we breaking records today, or am I seeing double? What the actual fuck? Here's another 5 gift subs. Paint chat fucking purple. 0 ad watchers in Yugo's fucking stream. We're hitting the fucking target today. Am I greedy? Yes, I'm fucking greedy. Cynical Chris with 1,000. Fucking shower me in your fucking oil. Make me so oily the United States military drops a fucking bomb on my grandmother's fucking house. Thank you, Chris. Just got back from my own wedding after almost 10 years of a relationship. What the fuck? Happy marriage, Chris! Happy fucking marriage! God bless you. May your life not be as ruined as it probably is. I'm kidding. Very good for you. I'm hoping to do that at some point as well. I'm also a big waiter like you. I waited for 5 fucking years. Everybody, congratulations to fucking Chris. Thank you, fucking Zifi, with another 10. What the fuck is going on? That means another. I'm going broke. I am going bankrupt on this fine day. From all the oil up in my ass. Fucking good for you, Chris. Thank you, Zifi, again, man. Welcome back, you crazy psychopath.
Subscriber.
Very nice shit.
Amount of money without going through the usual Wall Street humiliation rituals.
Like I have a much better work-life balance, I think, than people that work in IB or, on Wall Street doing this type of stuff, which I appreciate. Like, I'm not having to chug vodka Red Bulls to grind out 10 different
level 11 fucking hype train.
Crazy hamburger!
Thank you, Terkas, for another one.
Memos in an IB shop, and just for color, just me, one guy, what I manage in terms of
No worries, Amira, and congratulations for getting a car. Today's a good day. Everybody's celebrating something. But I want to know, Cynical Chris, how was the wedding?
loan dollars. I probably have 15 that I'm on, and in total, just the loan capitalization, it's probably close to $1 billion.
Time for a quick break so I can tell you all about something that could not be more important to me. My seashells selling side hustle and the website builder that makes it possible, Hosting Your Horizons. When hectic, I like to turn my phone off and head down to the seashore, where I fill up sacks full of seashells and schlep those suckers back home to sell them on my website. For decades, the side hustle seashelling business has been dominated by Sally, my 8-year-old neighbor, and a capitalistic tyrant. But thanks to these easily crafted websites, her chokehold on seashellmanship is over. This would all have been impossible without Hostinger Horizons.
Thank you, Retro, for the 6 fucking months, you beautiful piece of shit, and Terkus as well. Almost hitting that level 11, crazy.
Hosting
My own wedding after almost 10 years of relationship. Let's celebrate together.
Horizons is a no
Pizza famine! Fuck you! What the shit up my ass is fucking cracking up in here? I warned you guys once that I need some fucking oil and you fucking deliver. Holy shit, I guess begging on the internet is a very successful business tactic. Thank you, pizza. Level 11, bro. Holy shit. That's what I'm fucking talking about. Hugo, stream more on weekends is what the people said, and Hugo listened.
code web app and website builder that makes effortless websites and web app creation accessible to all. So say you're a seashell seller and you need a digital presence to break into the highly competitive online seashell marketplace. You fire up Hostinger Horizons, this nifty little AI chat box pops up, you tell it what you want your site to be and what you want it to look like. In my case, a sexy site for shilling, slinging, soliciting, and selling seashells. And voila! With Hostinger Horizons, your site can go up live in one click. Super chill. You can manage web hosting, domains, and email all in one place. They've got expert support available 24 hours, 7 days a week, and it's risk-free with their 30-day money-back guarantee. I mean, what more could you want? Not much, folks.
Just a classic civil wedding, 4 guests, and that's all. That's lovely. That's our style. Took like 15 minutes, just some dominance to sign, and that's all. Good for you, Chris. Absolutely very, very happy for you. After 10 years, you were probably like, okay, let's do this this ancient formality and link ourselves to each other forever in front of the Lord and, more importantly, the government. Good for you. Never oily enough. Tell me about it.
Not much. Get a free trial today with
3 minutes at level 12. Are you too greedy, Hugo? Seriously, a level 12 hype train, and you're still asking for more? Yes. Yes, I am a subject of capitalism. I must buy commodities, okay?
Hostinger Horizons and use my code to get 10% off your first month. Just go to hostinger.com/goodwork and enter the code.
Maybe I should do a side hustle like on OnlyFans or some shit.
Good work. Except for you, Sally. You've stuffed your fat pockets with olive shells and dollars long enough. Hostinger Horizons is for the people. See you on the beaches, scallywags. Private credit is high risk, high reward compared to the boring old stock market, but it's seen as a pretty safe investment compared to something like private equity.
Of course it's going to look like a safe investment when they're literally just like deregulated banks for mid to large size businesses.
Haha, missed me again. Now in private equity, you buy a piece of a company and then try to maximize its profits. But that also means you can lose your entire investment if the company implodes. In private credit,
What's up, Gamer Chat Squad official? What's up, brother?
you're just lending money to a company and then getting a steady drip of interest payments back. In theory, a pretty reliable way to invest in private, potentially riskier companies. And investors have been a-flocking.
Pension funds, it's teachers, firefighters, university.
While with private credit, it's quite literally like, do you believe that in the next 10 years, as the economy becomes weaker and weaker, that small to mid-sized companies will need bigger and bigger loans? If the answer is yes, invest in private credit.
Endowments and sovereign wealth funds.
It's going to become interesting when private credit companies amass so much capital that they can actually give it out to large corporations. And then if those large corporations cannot pay back the loan, they can start quite literally seizing them and then operating them from the inside. So it would work like private equity, but instead of you actively going into the company, buying it and trying to restructure it, you can, basically do a hostile takeover based on loans. But that would literally break the entire economy, because once those sorts of massive loans need to be paid back and nobody has money to pay it back, it just proves to everyone that the economy is quite literally invented, which crashes the whole thing in on itself. Hence 2008 on repeat, baby.
And they go to these people because these new private credit providers...
Which at the end of the day, 2008 was, we all realized that ain't nobody paying all that money back, right? So everything crashed because they don't have it. Thank you so much for a level 12 hype train. I bow my humble head in front of my lovely chat. Thank you for buying me nuggets and chicken tendies to give to JT for the next year and a half. Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. Pretty sure we can get back to the 2000, which is necessary for the sustainability of the show. So thank you. I think that's 100 subs and 2,600 bits. Not bad. Not bad for the first 30 minutes of today's stream. You guys are fucking awesome. And I guess I need to keep the 10 subs equals 15 Balkan scheme that I'm running here, because apparently it works. So I'm happy. Level 11.
Have sought to get huge amounts of money to lend, and those are the people who write the biggest checks.
Love the biggest checks. My favorite size. I'm talking area. Those big novelty checks, send them to daddy.
Thank you, Terkas, for another one.
I want them. And all that new money has tripled the size of the private credit industry over the last decade to $1.5 trillion. That's tripled, as in tripled. Maureen?
You start seeing these newly minted billionaires. Everyone's telling you this, it's the hottest, can't lose investment.
Dude,
and I think
it's literally the oldest sin in the fucking book. It's motherfucking usury, bro. Capitalism produces all of these incredibly interesting and innovative inventions. No, it's just continuous recreations of classic human behavior from 10,000 years ago. Thank you, Tacoma Blues. And why is it twice? Yeah, thank you, Tacoma Blues, for paying forward and gifting. That's always the coolest thing to see when somebody pays forward. It's my favorite type of sub.
Anything grows so quickly out of nowhere, it feels like you have to take a look at it. It feels like it needs scrutiny.
You want scrutiny? Well, let me take it from here, acclaimed New York Times journalist. While private credit is advertised as having pretty safe and steady returns, these companies borrowing money can be pretty unreliable and sometimes can't pay back their debts. In just the past year, the Chicken Soup for the Soul company couldn't pay back their loan of over $60 million. Zips Car Wash had to ask for an extension on its payment because it was bleeding cash. The tech bros over at CoreWeave borrowed $7.5 billion to buy and rent out...
Oh my god, no, it's already started. Holy shit, we're fucking... oh my god. I thought they were limited to how much capital they can give out and to whom at least. Oh my fucking god, they're already given to large corporations, to massive corporations. I genuinely did not know this. Sorry if I'm unking right now, but what happens when they can't pay back those loans? Oh my god. Because this motivates the private credit companies to give out more and give out more and leverage harder and leverage harder and leverage harder, which normal banks cannot do, because we learned at least some sort of lesson, I guess, from 2008. But here it's just going to continue. Fuck me. Oh my god. No, this is not a red flag. This is the entirety of the Soviet Union being overtaken by Bolsheviks and turning the whole place red. God. Fuck. Hugo, I just finished all my work for my last semester of college. Good for you. Finally done. Now I just have to enter the science field in America as a biologist. Not like the job market is fucking exploding right now, or no? No, not at all. Literally not at all. Literally this scene. What scene? Good for you. Congratulations, Gay Lennon. One of my favorite Lennons.
To my wife. This market won't last. Actually, could I talk to a mortgage broker? Anybody you recommend? Anybody you like?
Yes, I have someone, absolutely.
Yeah, a bitch better like me. Send her ass to Cabo. So is Morgan Stanley recruiting us? Is that?
Oh, no. No, the bank owns our hedge fund, but we're not really a part of it. We invest in financial service companies, and we're trying to understand the residential mortgage business.
How many loans do you write each month?
Yeah, about 60.
Yeah. What was it 4 years ago?
10, maybe 15. Damn, I was a bartender. Now I own a boat.
You own a boat. So how many of these are adjustable rate mortgages?
Well, most.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I'd say about 90%. The bonuses on those skyrocketed a few years ago. Adjustables are bread and honey.
So do applicants ever get rejected?
But now imagine the applicants that never get rejected are multi-billion-dollar companies. I am going to kill myself. I'm kidding, Twitch. I'm joking. This is a joke. No. Bruh. Are you insane? Have we learned nothing? I mean, it's good for us communists. The more shit implodes, the crazier it gets, the more fucked up it gets, the higher chance for revolt. But why are we committing economic suicide on a daily basis? Why? Why are we doing this? So some dudes that wear fucking Patagonia vests can make extra dough? Brother in Christ? Are we seriously doing this again? What was this? The fuck? Oh my fucking God. Thank you, made you say I love Amazon. I fucking love Amazon. Jeff Bezos, best fucking boss ever. Best boss ever. And Chad is my best colleague. Oh my God. Just listen to this again. To this part. Dude, oh my God.
Nowhere, it feels like you have to take a look at it. It feels like it needs scrutiny.
You want scrutiny? Well, let me take it from here, acclaimed New York Times journalist. While private credit is advertised as having pretty safe and steady returns, these companies borrowing money can be pretty
Yeah, for now, just like banks did up until they started loaning to fucking everyone and leveraging harder and harder and harder because they want bigger boats.
Reliable, and sometimes can't pay back their debts. In just the past year, the Chicken Soup for the Soul company couldn't pay back their loan of over $60 million. Zips Car Wash had to ask for an extension on its payment because it was bleeding cash. The tech bros over at CoreWeave borrowed $7.5 billion to buy and rent out NVIDIA chips, but then violated the agreement. Education software company Pluralsight got taken over by their debt collectors because they couldn't pay, and paper manufacturer Progest was accused of using their loan to fund their Prosecco vineyard and buy a yacht. Personally, wouldn't get mad at Progest for that. And while these are all isolated instances, some experts worry that they could get more common.
So there's truly...
Of course they're gonna get more common unless you regulate. Are you fucking insane? When you're a credit giver and you win in both cases, you either privatize and basically buy out the creditor and then own their apartment or their house or their bicycle, or in this case, their massive fucking corporation, or they pay back the money with an interest, so you generate even more capital, which allows you to leverage even more. And the only reason banks aren't doing that like fucking crazy, because that's what the profit motive wants you to do. It's rational to do it under the profit motive, is because there are regulations. But these guys exist out of, so that they paint the picture as clearly as possible. 2008 happened because we over leveraged on everyday shit, specifically in 2008 on houses, right? Now imagine if all the houses that people bought on loans that they can't pay back cost $100 million plus. Not $1 million, not 600,000, not, your fucking apartment is in Wisconsin for 120K or some shit. But literally tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars. What the fuck is it? This is insane.
of like what will happen if if the economy starts running into trouble, and it's just very untested.
There's been no test yet of this enterprise under really sustained risk and pressure financially.
Senator Jack Game Time Reed of Rhode Island sits on the Senate Banking Committee and has petitioned the Federal Reserve to impose more oversight on the private credit industry. He notes that private credit is just a whittled Gen Z baby that doesn't know how to drive stick or navigate a financial crisis. His own words.
So if interest rates remain high, that means the cost of the debt for these companies remains high. If you combine that with a recession where their revenue is going down and inflation where their costs are going up, then you could actually see a lot of companies having difficulty paying back their debt at the same time. That's going to be a real test.
Private credit grew like a motherfucking weed in the...
Bro, why do you hide your face? Because I'm really beautiful and I don't want to intimidate you guys.
Low rate, high growth 2010s. But now, the economy is showing signs...
Because my mother would be ashamed of me if she found out I'm a streamer.
...of recession, and rates are higher, which means...
Because I have a very large zit.
Borrowing companies are making less in cash and paying more in loans because of those rising interest rates. In fact, now over a third of private credit borrowers now owe more in interest than they generate in...
I was actually born like this. I was wearing a mask when I exited my mother's vagina.
...earnings. And all this adds up to a potential...
Because of COVID. I never got over COVID.
...nightmare scenario. Especially when you throw in that regulators have basically no jurisdiction over private credit. Because of private.
Some of this stuff is a bit Schrodinger's cat, right? You have a box.
I'm sorry, we're not supposed to pretend that like financialization is that fucking complex, or that these institutions are complex. Private credit is a guy that does almost everything that the bank does, but then you go to him and you're like, "Yo, private credit, how you doing, my bank?" And he's like, "I'm not a bank," but you know, you walk like a cat, you talk like a cat, you smell like a cat. But no, I'm not. I'm actually a gorilla. But no, you're a cat. No, I am a gorilla. And the Fed and the U.S. State Department or like state departments from across the world are like, yeah, that makes sense. They're not a bank because they said they're not a bank. Okay, I guess you're not a bank. What? That's it. That's it. Yo, Hugo, did you guys ever have Mike on the pod? Of course, we had Mike from PA on the pod, right? Deprogram, and then Mike, and you should have it.
Which is your private credit fund. And it's only really at the end of, the 7 years.
I want to do another co-stream with Mike. I would love to do that.
However long your money's locked up.
Beautiful motherfucker.
For that you get to open it up and find out whether the cat's alive or dead. So yeah, might be quite a few dead cats kicking around in a few years.
The scariest part though is just how big it's become out of nowhere and how opaque it is. You can't really see the full picture. Regulators don't have the full picture.
One of the problems that goes back to a fundamental problem, transparency. We don't know what these terms are, how long they're holding it, what rights they have to be reimbursed, etc.
Even though these folks are giving out loans like banks, they aren't regulated like banks. There's no oversight on loan sheets or independent checks on how healthy the borrowing company actually is. Meanwhile, investment managers point to private credit as a leading possible cause of the next financial crisis, and my mom's hall pass, Jamie Dimon, has said that there could be hell to pay if private credit starts to crack. But while the risks are growing, so too is private.
You don't need a fucking exec of fucking JP Mike Cock Morgan. You know it's a problem when a random fucking masked guy on Twitch is losing his shit over this, okay? God, I'm a content creator. I'm the stripper of the 2025s, okay? The same way you could recognize that the crisis was coming in 2008 when talking to strippers, you can now with content creators because we are the modern digital stripper, okay? Jesus Christ, man.
Credit also, with one estimate saying that the industry could triple by 2030. That's triple, as in triple. And all this growth could be making things riskier, or at least...
And of course they're going to bail them out, of course.
Weirder, with loans financed in all kinds of ways for all kinds of stuff.
It could be backed by millions of transactions, like buy now, pay later transactions, or Peloton contracts. Like, you can buy private credit debt that's backed by music royalties. Like there are people that take out loans to get elective plastic surgery, and you could buy bonds that are backed by that. Those are actually mostly public, but some of those deals are private. So as the scope of what private credit entails gets bigger, there's a lot more to choose from, and some of it is pretty safe and some of it is not. It's all kind of complicated. Complexity breeds risk. If you're going to edit all that stuff out, just stick with like it's complicated and complexity breeds risk.
I'm thinking maybe I should have just edited all that out and said it's complicated and complexity breeds risk. Too late. You can't change this stuff once it's in the camera. Everybody wants loans now. And private credit.
Everybody wants no ads, but nobody wants to pay to not watch ads. That's why you should pay to not watch ads and avoid the ad that is going to play in exactly 3 minutes and 20 seconds. And me, not a Twitch guy, but a private credit firm, will give you another 5 gift subs for every 10 gift subs. Trust me, this is not inflating my numbers, not in any way, shape, or form, and everything is perfectly legal. There's going to be no repercussions on my own bank account because of this or yours either. It's the soundest investment you can make in your life. I am a reputable source. So yes, ad playing in 3 minutes. Subscribe away and get your first hand on the Yugopnik private equity bubble. Thank you very much, Krill Tucker, for the 3 months. Krill, thank you very much. There we go. We have our first client. That means that we are legitimate. Definitely not a bank.
Credit firms are fighting hard to hand them out. Lenders are
Stock buyback, but on Twitch. Only here on YugopnikTwitch. I generally have not seen anybody else do this. Like actually actually gift subs to his own chat. Fucking, you know, I'm tapping myself on the back to an extent, but it's, I mean, if something deserves tapping, that's it.
Are reportedly competing with each other by taking on more risk, dishing out bigger loans with looser requirement for borrowers in order to win more business. Plus, banks, the very institutions that private credit was originally billed as the alternative to, are getting in on the action. Even regular people are getting involved. Ew. But unlike institutional investors, these normals have a finite amount of money, so they might panic and pull out when things get ugly. And that can affect the whole system. In general, experts and regulators alike are both concerned with what economists call mo money, mo problems.
They're growing exponentially, becoming a systemic problem, not just a one-off sideline. There is virtually no regulation. They're not regulated as the banks are by the Federal Reserve, the Office of Comptroller and Currency, the state banking regulators. And the clock is ticking.
Indeed, the clock is ticking, but there's no way of knowing how much time we have left. It's like a tick-tock, tick-tock you can't hear. Like a silent clock. Scary stuff, huh? Private credit is a lot of things. It's a lending system that provides cash for riskier businesses that's largely unregulated, that's generated...
My favorite thing about good work, you know what's my favorite thing about good work, is that he asked himself, okay, how do I get access to some of the, you know, most influential people in all of these industries that I talk about, including senators sometimes. And of course, it's a relative establishment media because good work is linked to that other company and so on. But still, he basically answered the question by, I will wear an ironic suit and tie and white shirt and a coat, and I will sit very seriously around New York. And, you know, regular normies are going to consider me a proper journalist guy doing journalism things. I'm doing hyper ironically, but I guess everybody else is like, no, this guy must be legit. I really respect it. It's smart. It's the opposite of what I do here. I have all the optics of zero potential growth. Okay, I am the definition of it is exceptionally difficult to take this man seriously because of. Okay, but I love it. I love it. It keeps me honest, you know. Thank you, AUKUS, for the 17th gift sub, you motherfucker. We are 4 gift subs away from another 5 on myself. I've been counting them. And thank you, Rock and Rolla. Yeah, brother, yeah, brother, yeah, brother, for the 8 months.
High returns and captured Wall Street's attention while growing their wallets. But it's also a black box of interconnected financial relationships that's growing and changing rapidly.
And then Krill Tucker walks in with a 5. And hits that beautiful point on the head, which means another 5 for me. Paint the chat fucking purple. take the ads behind the shed and introduce them to a new hole in the back of their head. Very good, very nice. I like very.
And there's nary a peephole through which we can peep, but I guess maybe what you don't know can't hurt you. For good work, I'm Dan Toomey.
Thank you, Dan Toomey. I thought he was going to walk into a hole.
It's Saturday night in Gainesville, Florida. Sergeant Nick Ferrara of
Why is paying for so addictive?
Continuing with finance, because we do finance. Yeah. Time to predict the next crisis, which is already here. We're already in a recession. I unironically talked to 3 friends yesterday who lost their job in the past week. 3 dudes. Okay, one guy lost their job because they told him you actually have to come in the office at 9 a.m. And he was like, am I profitable to you? They're like, yeah, but like you got to come in. He's like, am I profitable to you? I'm going to continue being profitable by having a very peculiar lifestyle. The guy's a drug addict, right? He stays up till 5 a.m. There's no way he's coming into the office, but he's hyper productive, right? Not a good lifestyle, but he's hyper productive. And he was like, I'm not coming in. And they were like, okay, then we have to let you go. And he was like, you don't need to. I'm leaving. Okay, fuck you. The other 2, though, cut because of recession.
Addictive.
They literally once financed a bottle of body wash.
You know what? I'm going to after.
You missed the last bit? Which bit, my brother?
Every time a new billionaire is created...
Ah, shit.
Therapist Dan.
Oh, wait. Oh, no, sorry. Oh, okay. There was a bit.
Breaking news. What he didn't know did hurt him. Shocking news out of Manhattan today, where acclaimed journotherapist Dan Toomey wandered out into the street without knowing a bus was headed directly at him. Despite looking one way, Toomey neglected to look the other way in case any bus was driving in the opposite direction down the road, which this one was. The incident, while horrific, also contradicted Toomey's final words, "What you don't know can't hurt you." An age-old saying that experts have disproven time and time again.
No matter how hard we try, it appears that many things we don't know can hurt you. And hurt you a lot.
Never learning what that rash on your arm is, that can hurt you.
Not knowing that a giant cartoon piano is about to fall on your head and turn your teeth into cartoon piano keys. That can certainly hurt you.
And of course, wandering into the street without looking to see if there's a bus going 45 miles an hour ready to squash you. If that can't hurt you, then my name isn't Professor John Rollins.
For New York News at 2, I'm not getting that lump checked out.
Oh my God.
It'll be fine.
Legendary. Thank you, Figgy, you fucking lifesaver, you beautiful piece of shit. And thank you, Jaeger, which always makes me want to drink a Jaeger for the 14 months. Hope our child is doing well.
Why is paying?
Now, yes. The buy now, pay later trap. Let's go. Which I'm baffled that, like, we need to even explain this. Credit is a trap, duh, but okay.
For so addictive.
They literally once financed a bottle of body wash.
You know what? I'm going to afterpay this. It's going to make me feel less guilty to pay it in 4 installments of $81 or whatever.
That's like having a black American Express to me. I can use it anywhere, anytime I get ready.
I'm using Klarna to pay for these Chris Brown tickets.
Look at this chart right here.
The greatest argument ever given against the Marxist hot take that the working classes deserve to be liberated is that maybe the working classes do not deserve to be fucking liberated. Like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? Bro, I know we're like victims of our circumstances and shit, but bro, some of y'all are dumber than a rock. For fuck's sakes. The fuck? Bro, please, bro.
This show
open the schools, please. Yes, thank you, brother. The fuck? Seriously.
The total non-housing consumer debt in America over the last 10 years. And
I think it's less being duped than being forced. Very often, yes, material conditions, I absolutely get it. But sometimes, come on. You don't need Chris Brown tickets, my brother in Christ. Also, like, how is Chris Brown still a thing? Motherfucker beat the living shit out of his fucking wife. The fuck? How are we still like, yeah, this guy like is fucking famous wife beater and we're just like fucking chill with it? What? How is that normal shit? The fuck?
In 2024, Americans collect.
See, the ADHD brain fucking hooks in. I don't have ADHD, but still, at least I don't think I do.
Collectively owe more than $5 trillion, which is enough to pay for every NFL, NBA, and MLB team 10 times over. And to make matters worse, we are constantly surrounded by psychological tricks and hidden fees to drive us further and further into debt. The worst of these tricks, the buy now, pay later programs that have been designed to take advantage of young adults.
So when you buy $100...
Do you Klarna your 15 gift subs? No, I only Klarna my 5 gift subs that I give for every 10 gift subs. Wow, wow, wow.
Pair of shoes and you only have to pay $25 that day, and then the pair of shoes show up at my apartment 3 days later. The shoes are $25. Why do I care if in 2 months I have to pay another $25? I don't know me 2 months from now. She can deal with that.
Buy now, pay later is a
I'm back only because I need to interview Pokey later, okay? Come on, do you want me to have a stroke on camera? Do you want me to like start saying bannable shit? Open the schools! Open the schools, please!
A short-term financing option that is offered by companies like Affirm, Klarna, or Afterpay. You'll typically see these options pop up on e-commerce stores.
Thank you, NMAC! What's up, NMAC? Whoa! You missed very people that are interesting.
Offering you the ability to buy what
now,
you want.
DOS now, pay later. Tell someone to KYS themselves now because it's very funny. But when you get that email tomorrow that you're permanently banned, it stops being that funny.
Today, while deferring your payment over a certain number of installments. So if you're looking to buy a new suitcase for a trip you have coming up and it's going to cost you $300, instead of paying that all today, you could buy the suitcase today and then split the $300 across 4 equal interest-free payments. And you might think, great, interest-free. I can just sign up for these payments and then worry about paying it sometime later down the road. But it's not quite that simple. These buy now, pay later programs aren't necessarily groundbreaking financial technology. In fact, buy now, pay later programs are kind of a newer, modernized version of the old school layaway programs that you would see at stores like Kmart and Sears. These layaway programs allowed you to place a deposit on an item like a dishwasher, for example. And then the store would reserve that dishwasher for you to collect once you had paid off the dishwasher through their installment plan. But these layaway programs kind of fell off throughout much of the mid-20th century, mainly due to the introduction of credit cards and revolving lines of credit. Instead of using a layaway program and waiting to collect their item,
whatever this editing style is, I really fuck with it.
People could just swipe a credit card, get their item today, and then worry about paying off that over the next couple months or years.
There's Grant Rudo. 9,000 subscribers? Fuck you. Why? Here's another one.
The only problem is that a credit
please link in chat, thank you.
Card will
you did thank you.
Incur interest. People realize that if they didn't pay their credit card down on time, they would end up owing more than they initially spent on the item. So along came the modern marvel that is buy now, pay later, which gave you the best of both worlds. Get your product today, pay it off over a longer period of time, all while doing it interest-free. And that idea began hooking people in because buy now, pay later has seen some explosive growth over the last 5 years, going from $2 billion in transaction volume in 2019 to $24.2 billion in 2021. And it's projected to reach as high as $122 billion in 2025. But this explosion wasn't just happening in a vacuum. It's actually part of 3 major cultural shifts that we've been seeing. First is the financialization of everything, meaning we've moved from a completely cash-based society to a society in which we look at even a $5 coffee as an opportunity to finance the transaction. Second, we have the rise of social media driven consumption. As influencers showcase luxury lifestyle and products, buy now, pay later allows the average consumer the ability to experience those same things without actually incurring the cost today. And third, we have the post-pandemic spending boom, which has consumers using buy now, pay later.
It completely changes your perspective on what you can actually afford, which debt traps people even harder. Even if there's no percentage count, the trick that it plays on your head is already problematic enough, because you're postponing bankruptcy, but you're still doing bankruptcy. You look at a pair of shoes that is $150 and you tell yourself, I cannot afford that. But you see that you can pay it, 5 installments of $30 and you only need $30 now. You can still not afford those $150. The $150 are going to be paid, my brother in Christ. But you're just postponing paying it, which is the postponement of your eventual bankruptcy. At the end of the year, you're poor for $150.
Later as a form of revenge spending or buying things they feel like they missed out on during the pandemic. Combine all of that with a declining financial literacy among most young adults, and you have the perfect...
A little unrelated, but I have brain rot to contribute. Your brain rot is always welcome, my beautiful piece of shit. Let's see.
White, c'è qualcuno alla porta! Chi è? Yo, signor White, c'è qualcuno alla porta! Jesse, abbiamo la demenza! Yo, signor White, c'è qualcuno alla porta! Chi è? Yo, signor White, c'è qualcuno...
Suka.
Perfect storm to make buy now, pay later explode as a new mentality. But why is this even a problem? If they're not charging interest, how can they actually be taking advantage of me as a consumer? To answer that question, we first need to look at the differences between buy now, pay later programs and traditional credit cards. Because on the outside, they're basically the same thing. Both financial devices allow you to buy something today that you might not necessarily be able to afford or be willing to put cash down today for. But a credit card usually involves some sort of approval process, application, review, and a credit report hit. Meanwhile, buy now, pay later programs offer an almost instantaneous approval for your purchase in the moment. Additionally, as we discussed, credit cards can accrue interest if not paid off by the end of the month. And that rate can be at crazy high rates, usually around 19 to 23%. On top of that, if you're late with your payment or you miss a payment, credit card companies can also add on late payment fees that just end up waterfalling you into insane amounts of credit card debt off of fairly simple purchases to begin with. And on the other hand, buy now, pay later offers 0% interest, which sounds great, but that all depends on if you actually pay your payments on time. If you don't, you'll be subject to late payment fees that can range anywhere from $2 to $15 per payment and going all the way up to 25% of the total value of the purchase you made initially. And with all that said, buy now, pay later still might sound like a perfectly good alternative to credit cards, which is exactly what they want you to think. Because buy now, pay later
And that premise as a whole is problematic because the credit card is already a problem. Because it talks about a greater societal ill where we exist in a system that at least promised us that we will be able to get all the cool shit that we want, yet now none of us can actually afford all the cool shit that we want, so we postpone paying for the cool shit that we want that we cannot afford, so that, tomorrow's version of us realizes that they're fucked by yesterday's version of us.
Programs weren't necessarily designed to help the consumer.
Girl math, more like brain damaged math.
Consumer like you or me. They were designed for stores and brands that want to sell more through their website or in their stores. After all, that's why brands are willing to pay 2 to 3% more for their transaction fees to use a buy now, pay later program versus a traditional credit card processor. To give you an example, let's look at a $100 purchase. If you bought a $100 item using a normal credit card on their site, the brand was typically going to incur about a $2.50 charge to process that payment. And on the other hand, if you were to use a buy now, pay later program,
that already is so fucking insane. And it's a monopoly. It's a monopoly that pretty much took over the entire world and told every single firm, yo, we're gonna take a fucking cut out of everything that you make if somebody pays by card. literally proving that cash is king and far superior, but because it's so many papers in my pocket, it's so inconvenient. Going to an ATM is so inconvenient. I have to use plastic card. No, plastic card too inconvenient. I need on phone. I tap phone, right? Which literally made everything 2.5 to 3% more expensive. Literally, absolutely everything. Because the corporations that need to pay transaction fees, guess who they offloaded the price to? Either the consumer, or they lowered wages of their own employees by that 3%. You fucking employees, in order to be able to keep the same competitive price for their products/services that they're giving to people. But you can press by phone. Look, I tap. I tap.
And that transaction fee that the brand has to pay goes from $2.50 to about $5. But the merchant fees are just the beginning when it comes to buy now, pay later. So let's look at how these companies actually make money beyond just charging the brand that hosts them on their website. First, like we just discussed, they're going to collect that merchant fee, which is anywhere from
that pragmatism. I'm up for even paying with a finger, paying with your iris. All of that is fine as long as there isn't an insane fucking processing fee, which is the case that we have now.
4 to 6% of the transaction price. Second, they profit from late fees, like we talked about earlier, which has turned out to be a pretty substantial revenue source.
It's not that I'm obsessed with paper chat, okay? Even though there's something Balkan in me when, I got that fucking thick stack, a fucking thick stack, bro. But it's the fee that's the problem.
Source for companies like Affirm and Klarna, because 1 in every 3 users of these buy now, pay later programs actually ends up missing a payment at least once. And third, every purchase that is made reveals something about you or your shopping habits, and these companies have realized that that is very valuable information for other brands. So they actually harvest a lot of the data from your checkout pages and then sell it to other brands that can then use it in their marketing or in their ad target. And finally, they benefit from the sheer volume of loans being opened up by packaging yours and everybody else's debt together and selling it to larger financial institutions.
You're being kind of ableist right now. I've got dyscalculia and got difficulties counting and doing math. Get ready for writing your my Twitter apology. I apologize for my ableism, my friend. I'm sorry. But then but you still need to count though, my friend. Like when you see how much something costs.
Institutions, they can make money even when you pay on time. In other words, they've created a system where they win no matter what happens to you financially. So now let's look at buying an iPhone.
The main reason I always carry a lot of cash is because it's the only way to pay off police when they stop you.
For one,
in my part of the world. Though I recently heard that some of them walk around with they take their kid's phone and they use their kid's name and everything on Revolut, basically like a payment app, so you can bribe a cop with a payment app, but they hide that it's a bribe because the money goes to like a 15-year-old daughter, right? It's the police is adapting.
$1,000. When you reach the checkout page, you have 3 options. Number 1, pay the full $1,000 up front. This is the simplest, cleanest, and easiest way to get out of the checkout scotch-free. Option 2, you could use a credit card with the typical 22% APR to purchase the phone. And if you only made the minimum payments, you would end up paying about $1,480.
Tips on how to bribe a police officer. You ask them if you can somehow get out of this situation. And then usually what we typically do is we ask them, here's, what if I buy you lunch? You and your colleague lunch. Or you have kids, buy something nice for your kid, blah, blah, blah. You don't directly offer cash. You talk about gifts.
$80 over
as a thank you for letting you off without fining you.
Course of 5 years, with 480 of that being the interest alone. And option number 3.
You basically say, please let me go. I will be very, very grateful, and I'm open to showing how grateful I would be. That works 90% of the time. Wait, but China is now using contactless or digital payments, so does that make it based or not? If it has processing fees, I don't know how it is in China. It is not based. Because the processing fees impact both the consumer and the people working for the private enterprise. New business coming. Bribe now, pay later.
3 is you could use Afterpay's 4-payment installment plan where you pay $250 today and then $250 every 2 weeks until the plan is paid off. Which sounds like the best deal to you? You see, brands have mastered psychological manipulation throughout their website, but specifically on the last hurdle, which is the checkout page. And they do this through 4 key tricks. First, they exploit what psychologists call the pain of paying. By splitting the cost over a longer period of time, your brain actually registers less financial pain than paying the full amount up front. Second, they trigger what is called the temporal discounting, which is our tendency to value immediate rewards more than future benefits, or otherwise known as instant gratification. Pay just $25 today and it's yours sounds a lot better than waiting and saving up for it. Third, they will create artificial urgency by simulating limited time offers in the checkout page. And finally, they use colors and shapes to direct your eye exactly where they want you to be looking. Have you ever noticed that the buy now, pay later button is often highlighted in a brighter color and it's sometimes even pre-selected when you reach the checkout page? These aren't.
Let me save this video for literally for later, because we are getting a guest on. We are getting a guest on. But while I do logistics, I'll play the video in the background.
Accidents. These are specific design decisions to short circuit your brain to making a financial decision more on an impulse than with rational thinking. Instead of thinking about a $100 purchase rationally and over a longer period of time, they'd rather have you just click the pay $25 now and worry about it later on. And again, this isn't necessarily a bad deal because people are always looking for interest-free ways of—
Oh, wait, what? I keep posting?
Where have I been?
What is this?
Where have I been? I've been working on some big things, and it's time to announce one of them. Do you want to see me on Yugopnik's Twitch stream, 10 a.m. Pacific Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Time? Yes, you do. Well, then head over to YugopnikTwitch or twitch.tv/YugopnikTwitch to catch me live talking.
Man, I'm just now realizing how shitty my fucking name is. What, that's you? No, this is, I mean, thank you for the compliment. I wish that was me. But, no, we're getting pokey fucking prayed over here to talk about some fucking South Asia stuff and, you know, basically Dunkin' Chuds in a couple of minutes.
The Balkan Daddy, the sexy Tony Soprano of the left. Catch me talking to him at this link tomorrow, 10 a.m. Pacific Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. We're gonna go over India, Pakistan, Kashmir, H3H3. In addition to that, we've also got something we are working on with Rev Left dropping soon. I'll promote it once we get it finalized.
Very nice, very good. I like it. Very muchka. Very muchka, very good. Okay, now prepare for a weird setup. Okay, I have a weird setup. Okay, this is the setup. Okay, wait, let me move it. Should I move a bit? I should move a bit. No, I should move a bit like this. No, wait, I'll move this instead. Like this. Okay. Okay, and then once he comes on, I'll move this like this. You can look. You can look at our chat. There you go. You can look at what we were, what you were sending me. Absolutely unhinged. I love them. Absolutely unhinged. Wait, like this. Okay, and then put it in the center. Where's chat? The fuck? The fuck? Wait, let me add chat. Let me add chat. Chat must be added for chat matters most. macOS screen capture, yes. Yes, no. Window capture, yes. Oh my god, chat is so large. Chat is so thick. Like this, we put chat in here. Chat, you mean Chad. You see, I depicted you guys like this. I depicted you as a Wojak. Okay, let me do it like this. And then move you down. Like this. No, not behind the image. No, you go. Learn how to stream properly. Oh, does it look good or does it look good? You guys, chat, do we like it? Do we like the aesthetics? Is it nice? Is it very aesthetica? Is it very aesthetica? Is it very aesthetica? I think it's cool. I fuck with it. I even added all these little shot glasses. I think it's cute, right? It's cutie. I like it 7 out of 10. Kubashi, you motherfucker. You like it. Fuck yeah. Okay, lovely. Who are you, chat, in the Wojaks? Okay, let me now move out of it. I'll come back into it to properly set it up. I'll now call up Pokey, and we can get this started. Wait. Let me see if he can hear me. Hopefully he can. Hello, beautiful. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly. Now, you will have to give me 3 to 4 minutes for me to unk this so it's properly shows up on stream. Is that possible?
All right.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I can wait.
Up. Okay, we do a pop-out screen. We clickety-clack.
Are we live right now?
Maybe they can hear you a little bit. Yeah. The hordes are at the gate, but they cannot see your handsome face yet. They cannot see your handsome face yet. One moment, because I fucked up before, and I want to do this proper like this time. Okay, now move the fuck. Fantastic. One moment. How you doing? How's life?
Not bad, you know. How's your life?
Always horrible. I'm kidding. Always fantastic. Yeah, I can't really complain. Summer is back, which changes everything to the better, at least in my case. Because it gets very fucking cold here. Okay, this should be set up like this. I'll be in the middle, I guess. That works. And then I'll move this. Don't save. Into the Pokebreed Discord window. No, Discord.
What are you using, OBS?
Yes, sir. It's fucking
Okay.
so unnecessarily complicated.
I know.
Discord. What is this titled as? It's titled as nothing. Chat, wait! Don't be dicks. Wait. Chrome window. It can't window it. Okay. I love this. Wait, let me put you back in here. I'll do it like this. Okay, now they can see your face. So put on your pants, as they say. Let me just transform this as well. You have no idea how complicated. I'm talking to chat, you know how complicated what I'm doing right now is.
gotta do the OBS commentary.
Yeah.
You know, the elite OBS.
Absolutely. You know how easy this is, like when it's a regular podcast thing and, you know, it's not fucking live. But when it's live, you're just there standing with your dick out in front of everybody. 750.
You're moving the layers and shit, and then chat's all like, hurry up, and then, man.
Like this. Literally 1 more minute, and we are ready. 300.
All right.
400. This will do. Lovely. Okay. There we go. Okay, I have a new setup that I'm testing out with you, but it should work. Say a few things so that I can hear if it's going through the system.
Yugopnik feet pics win.
Tomorrow, my friend, it's going through. Okay. What's up, Pokey? It is an absolute pleasure to have you here. Chat has demanded your presence for a while now. I've been a fan for a while now. It is really nice to see you. It is an absolute pleasure to meet you as well. So, hi, my name is Hugo. How you doing? Genuine pleasure. Welcome. How's your day been going?
It's good. It's weird being on here because, like, one of the first videos I ever made that like popped off was like making fun of the program. So like it's weird being here. And like I'm not gonna lie, Hugo, like I was absolutely racist towards you. Like I put on like the fakest Eastern European accent, and like the only thing I could do for you was like you're an alcoholic. So I was like, hey, it is me, Yugopnik, and I love alcohol, you know. And then, but
that's not racist because it's absolutely correct. You know, certain stereotypes are fine, and also, you know, you're not a white American, and that is the only category which I forbid to make fun of Eastern European stereotypes. Everybody else, and French people, everybody else is very welcome to dunk on us because we are very easy to dunk on, and we have I believe decent sense of humor to accept the dunks. So completely in it's all in good health as they say.
Yeah. I mean, an American's fine, but somebody from like 70 miles in the Balkans away from you isn't.
No, never, my friend. Absolutely not. That's the only category. I mean, I like to joke around with chat sometimes that they're very often like, "Yo, I'm this ethnicity or that ethnicity." If I come to the Balkans, are people going to be bigoted at me? And I always ask them, "Are you originally or whatever, if it's an American, from one of the countries that are neighboring the country that you're going to?" They say no. I'm like, nobody's going to be bigoted towards you. We only hate our neighbors. If you're from Vietnam, from Pakistan, from Ghana, from Brazil, they're probably going to ask you some stereotypical questions and so on, but that's what always happens when you travel abroad. Nobody's going to be like, get the fuck out of my fucking bar or my fucking apartment. But if it's literally your fucking neighbor from across the street, then interesting conversations start up. Is it similar between with Pakistanis and Indians? I always wondered. Is that like is there an innate, like, even outside of the way the two states interact and so on? Do like regular Pakistanis sometimes and regular Indians, are they sometimes assholes to each other just because they are from the competing tribe?
I mean, it's weird because like online, like you get a brown man online and he's like the most racist. Like you get an Arab and an Persian and like a brown, like an Indian and a Pakistani online, and they'll be like saying like slurs to each other 24/7. But like you get them off their keyboard and you put them in a room with each other and they're like nice to each other suddenly. Like they're chilling, they're friends. It's I don't know. It's the online nature. I feel like.
I can relate a lot. I think, it's the online nature, and it's the same. It's the same with us. I heard you come from a Maoist family. To what extent has that shaped your worldview? What's like the family lore? Because my mod specifically said bonus points if you talk about your uncle. I hear he's a legend.
Yeah, so like in the 60s and 70s, when there was like a big Maoist insurgency and Maoist movements growing all over India, a lot of my uncles, while they were in college, they became Maoist. They became very heavily into Marxist politics and communist parties. And that's actually how my parents met. I mean, my parents themselves aren't communists, but they both had cousins that were in communist parties, and then the cousins were all like, "Hey, you should meet my cousin," and then he was all like, "Oh, you should meet my cousin." So I'm actually birthed out of, like I'm literally born out of this communist. Like my parents wouldn't have met unless it was for the Communist Party. But my main uncle, who's a communist organizer, his name is Naper Tudige. He's the vice president of our state, Punjab's Maoist party. It's called the Farmers Labor Union, I believe. It's a mouthful in English. Anyways, the dude's super cool. He's got like a 3-story house in the Pind, in Todike. He's got like a big old hammer and sickle on it. Like you can see it from like anywhere in the town. He's like pushing 70, but he'll disappear sometimes to fight with the Naxals in the forest. Like he's a pretty chill dude.
Does he know that you post? Is he sometimes like, or is he too old to get like, oh, my grandson is epic communism man on internet that is good spreading propaganda, or is he like, why are you recording yourself, dude?
I interviewed him in like 2014, like almost 10 years ago. And he was like pretty hyped about it. He was like, "Hell yeah! I'm popular in America. Like American people like me." Yeah,
I love that. I absolutely love that. But okay, let's start out the general conversation. Once again, please mods, pin Pokey's links in chat so that everyone can check out the brilliant work that you do. Can I refer to you as Pokey?
Yeah, Pokey, Preet, whatever you want to call me.
You're a Pokemon guy. You like Pokemon, or that just stuck?
I fucking love Pokemon up till like the 4th or 5th gen, like Diamond, Pearl, Heart Gold, Silver, like everything and then even like maybe like X and Y, but like everything past that, like I'm not that big of a fan of.
Do you play those like modded versions that are like designed for like hardcore players and shit? I heard there's like hacked versions that like you insta die, or you have to go through the whole game without losing even once, and like the Pokemon spawn randomly and their stats spawn randomly, shit like that. The main reason I'm asking, honestly, is because I was having a beer with a friend earlier, and I'm like, yo, I'm getting, I have to leave. I'm getting this brilliant gentleman coming on the show, blah, 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 to talk. And I told him your tag, your name, and he's like, fellow like Pokemon enjoyer or whatever. And then he gave me like 50 questions to ask you, which I forgot because he was talking exactly like you. Oh, I stopped at Diamond 17, but after YZ8, it was chill. So I had a bunch of questions in my head, and the only thing that I honestly remember is, do you play the hacked version? But do you even know what I'm referencing? I don't know.
Yeah, like Emerald Kaizo version. I never played it. I rage quit way too easily. So like I can't do that. Like I gotta do the normie stuff. I actually got into Pokemon through Mystery Dungeon, the Mystery Dungeon series, if Chad is familiar with that. Especially Explorers of Sky. Like that was my shit growing up. So
nice. Yeah. I loved Pokemon as a kid, but honestly, for like exclusively misogynist reasons, I thought Booba on Animated Lady, as like a 9-year-old, was very cool.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my god, Booba. I had a crush on the classic Pokemon girl that's in the squad with Ash.
Misty?
Misty, yeah. As a tiny Yugo was a big Misty guy. Which I think reproduced itself in my general type in my later years, but whatever. I'm over explaining certain things to chat. But okay.
I was a May guy.
Yeah. What was the name of the two main bad guys that were constantly trying to steal the Pokemon?
Shit, it's been so long since.
Doesn't matter, but the lady also had a crush on her as well. I guess I had a crush on everyone. I was a horny child.
James, Meowth, and fuck, I forget the girl's name. That's the only one you want, right?
James, chat is Team Rocket, Jesse, and James. I guess Jesse I really liked. Thank you, Rock and Roller, for the 10 gift subs. I will read out all the gift subs, and I will do the 5 gift subs additional on every 10 once the interview is over, so that we give Pokey as much time as possible. But keep that fucking money coming in. Okay. Now, let's start the formal part of the episode. Oh, Jesus Christ. Pokey, please introduce yourself to chat. Tell them what you do, where they can find you, and so on.
Hey guys, I'm PokePreed. I'm a Marxist-Leninist TikToker, I guess. I also have a podcast called the PokePreed Pod. And yeah, I just make content around Marxist-Leninism, politics, a couple skits once in a while. And yeah, that's about it.
Everybody go check it out. It's really good and really funny. Also, like, genuinely, I think we have the absolutely same sense of humor. But I would like to start, these conversations with a personal story on how you got to be a socialist. You already talked about your family connection, etc., etc. So was it something innate, even through childhood, that made you, become relatively class conscious, etc., etc., or was there another particular point that radicalized you into not only being a Marxist, but one that actively wants to contribute to the cause through organization and even content creation and so on? What was that spark, if you can think of it?
I mean, I was always sort of raised in like a lot of my family's communist, Maoist, things like that. So I was always sort of raised in that environment. But my mother, everybody surrounding me, they never really read theory per se. So like they had like these really weird positions. Like, my grandpa, he's like pro Lenin, and he voted for Trump in the last election. Like, if you can believe it, like, so I think he synthesized something that some other grifters have accidentally. But I was always like radical but stuck in electoralism. I could say, I was like, hell yeah, Marx, but I'll still support the Democratic Party, like in high school, things like that. And then slowly but surely I discovered Lenin. And once you discover Lenin, you don't go back. I think Lenin was such a beautiful writer, and he had such a beautiful scientific mind. He was able to, it's just like how Newton described physics, right? Lenin was able to describe these fundamental laws of capitalism that repeat themselves over and over again, that go even beyond him, right? Like, it's not about Lenin. It's not about Leninism. It's about the scientific theories, imperialist stage of capitalism, world wars, the inevitability of them, how to do revolution. And so, yeah, I think from Leninism, you go there and then you start reading Stalin, Mao, Ho Chi Minh, whatever. Like, from there you go.
Absolutely. When it comes to theoretical development, I pretty much took the same path, and I think most people do. And with Lenin, especially, applied theory throughout his later life, and as he became a Bolshevik and so on, is also exceptionally important, because you manage to kind of solidify it in your brain as not something that we can only fantasize about, but something that was tried at one point with all its faults, etc., etc. And you start realizing just how complicated application can get, which again, like, doesn't dissuade you. At least it didn't me, and I think majority of people that read Lenin does not dissuade them, but quite literally tells them just how possible this is, albeit complicated. But yeah, thank you for the story. And I'd be remiss not to be a ethno-essentialist here and use you while we have you to talk about the current spicing up of get it what I did here, spicing. Indian. Yeah, I'm a racist. Of Pakistan-India relations. So I have a few points I'd love you to please teach me and chat those watching live and those watching later in the highlight about. So, how did this whole thing start? Why do two nations constituting basically the same people hate each other so fucking much? And again, trust me, as a Balkan boy, I can strongly relate.
Yeah, so in order to understand Pakistan and India, you have to understand three regions, I feel like. Punjab, Kashmir, and Pakistan. So Pakistan used to be part of Punjab, and for us Punjabis, it is a really big, irony that, like, we're basically fighting our own people, right? Like, our brothers and sisters. I mean, we used to be part of the same region, right? And in 1947, on April 15th, 1947, as the British are exiting out of the British, the British Raj, the India. There was this guy, Cecil Radcliffe, not related to the Lord of the Rings actor, and he drew the borders, right? And he didn't know what the fuck he was doing, right? Like, they were just drawing them randomly. He cut through towns, he cut through random places. I'm Sikh, right? So the birthplace of Guru Nanak Dev Ji is currently in the Pakistan side. I mean, that's insane. Like, he didn't know what the fuck he was doing. And so basically what was said was Muslims on this side, what's going to be Pakistan, and Sikhs and Hindus on the other side, which is now the modern day state of Punjab. And so about 15 million people moved, and it was horrific, right? Jesus. The estimated deaths are about 200,000 to 2 million. There was intense. And you got to understand, Punjab wasn't a perfect region, but there was a lot of multicultural peace. Like, people used to live together, Muslims, Hindus, Sikhs. They used to live together in towns. You can talk to any old person who used to live on the Pakistani side from, like, my family. Like, oh yeah, I had like a Muslim friend and a Hindu friend, and we all used to get along. But suddenly, there was this great ethnic violence, right? This great ethnic violence from this mass movement of people on one side or the other side of the border. And so this has really resulted in Pakistanis sort of fomenting their own national identity that sort of rejects their Punjabi roots, right? The majority of Pakistan is Punjabi, but even the Punjabi elites of Pakistan, they will suppress the Punjabi language in favor of Urdu. And of course, Pakistan is also multicultural. They have like Pashtuns and other. But it's led to sort of this idea that, Pakistanis and Indians, Punjabis, we're counter-opposed people. But really, if you study history, we used to live together. We used to talk to each other. We used to be friends, So it really is a sad irony, what has happened, I will say. The other region you need to understand is Kashmir. All right, so Kashmir was part of the Sikh Empire, right? It was under the control of the Sikh Empire. But then, the Anglo-Sikh Wars happened, the British took over, and they made Kashmir an autonomous region that was under the rule of the Dogras. The Dogras were a Hindu dynasty ruling over a mostly Muslim region. And they were very unpopular, right? Like, nobody liked them. And the Kashmiris were insanely poor. There's stories of Dogra Maharajas, right, the kings, driving around in Rolls Royces, and like the peasants come up to the Rolls Royce and they're like touching it and they're like crying, and the kings are like, "Why are you crying?" And they're like, "This horse, he's so weird, he can't eat."
Oh my God.
They were so fucking poor. Yeah, they were so fucking poor they didn't know what cars were. So what happened was, once India got independent, Kashmir was sort of a semi-autonomous region. It wasn't part of India or Pakistan. But what happened was, a tribe from the Pakistan region, we don't know if it's connected with Pakistan, and a lot of historians say that the reason that this tribe was attacking is complicated, so there's a lot to go over. But simplifying it, a tribe from the Pakistan region and popular unrest from the native people of Kashmir led to the Dogras asking the Indians to save their dynasty, and this formalized Indian rule over Kashmir. And ever since then, even though there was supposed to be a UN-sanctioned plebiscite to vote for, the Kashmiris, whether Kashmir will be Pakistan or whether Kashmiris will be part of India or, independent, that was never administered. Since then, India, Pakistan, and China have been occupying this region. India has about 700,000 troops in the region, and they do horrible things to the Kashmiris, right? Regular rape. They'll stick electric wires up people's penises. Just horrible shit. It's basically occupation. It's very similar to what Israel is doing in the, let's say, West Bank. Recently, Kashmir has always been sort of a special region. Recently, Modi removed Article 370 of the Indian Constitution, right? This forbade anybody who's not from Kashmir from buying up land. And so the Indian government has been doing insane land grabs. And so you've got India, you've got Pakistan. Pakistan's in Balochistan, which is part of Kashmir. Recently, this has led to immense conflict with the native Kashmiris, especially with groups like the TRF, the Resistance Front, who attacked tourists in response to the dissension of Article 370, and especially Indian land grabs within the region. So
those two
Kashmir has always sort of
those two events were directly linked, you believe?
Yeah. And 370 was gotten rid of in 2019, and the Resistance Front's TRF, they were formed as a result of the dissension of 370.
Okay. And now we have it confirmed that the TRF was the one responsible for the tourist attack, right?
I believe so. The reporting is very partisan, so it's hard to sometimes get the truth. I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, that was only a slight interruption. Please continue.
Yeah, so Kashmir has always sort of been a catalyst for Indo-Pakistani wars. Like 3 of the wars that India and Pakistan have fought, they started out in Kashmir. I mean, this is a very politically charged region. So there's like trauma from like partition, right? So like a lot of Muslims, while partition was happening, killed Hindus and Sikhs. A lot of Sikhs and Hindus, while partition was happening, killed Muslims. Like, it was a horrible event where like communities turned on each other. So there's a lot of trauma from that.
Somebody that is from literally across the fucking globe starts drawing fictitious lines that causes immense ethnic conflict. And, decades later, instead of all of us, rightfully realizing that the core cause of all of this needless suffering is, imperialism, to simplify a little bit, but imperialism. And instead, we point fingers, sometimes rightfully because horrible things absolutely happened, at each other, which then festers greater discontent, which then festers greater division, etc., etc. It's like the best ending for a then superpower such as Britain once it pulled out of the region. The only thing I'm putting kind of a dot on is just how understandably irrational the whole situation is, but hey, that's usually the consequence of imperialism in almost every corner of the world. It's those very same people that live there that have to pay indirect reparations to each other for centuries on end because of an occupying force that is at least physically no longer there for quite a while. Repeat, and rinse.
No, absolutely. And my grandma and grandpa were one of the people who were forced to walk on foot from the Pakistani side to the Punjabi side. And it was a horrible journey. I mean, first of all, she was a little girl. She didn't even know what was going on. She put away some gold, some like really nice jewelry in her house because she thought she was coming back. I mean, it was just a temporary movement. And then she died never having gone back to her hometown in Pakistan. And now what is Pakistan? It's a really sad, situation, what happened. And, it's like, I look at Pakistanis as my brothers, but it's like, there's all this ethnic tension right now. There's all this hatred, and it's all the fucking British's fault. I mean, that's always the answer to history, I feel like.
Yeah, the Anglos, 100%, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cliche to draw parallels, right? But the parallels are there, and I have to, mention them to an extent. Yugoslavia exists. Yugoslavia starts falling apart because of very malign Western influence that then causes land grabs by the independent republics, which for, every single one of them had like 700 arguments on why they get to do this to the other group, sometimes referencing stuff that happened 1,000 years ago, sometimes referencing modern international law, etc., etc. They end up killing each other because of this malign Western influence that completely destabilized and destroyed the country, including some of our own fault, but you get my point. And now, at this point, 40 years later, all the inter-ethnic hatred is based upon those particular events, which were absolutely horrendous. But nobody's talking about the events that underpinned the catalyst of that very same mass-scale violence, etc., etc. It echoes kind of a similar story, though, when it comes to India and Pakistan, to a much, much grander, unfortunately, of course, level, because we're talking about numbers of people that died that is absolutely unfathomable to my brain. But you mentioned paramilitary groups, revolutionary fronts, etc., etc. And I don't think anybody in chat is informed on this unless they're from the region as well. So what would you say the main paramilitary or insurgency groups operating out of Pakistan and Kashmir, and even India, if there are any?
Give
us a tier list, I guess.
I had to. The main groups are the LET, which is like officially banned in Pakistan, but still sort of operates. Like, it operates in Kashmir mostly. And, I think the Pakistani government sort of just ignores it. And, it's one of those things, right? On the books, it's banned, but, we're going to turn a blind eye. Mm-hmm. And most of the groups in Kashmir, they're usually backed by Pakistan. I mean, a lot of Kashmiris, and it's a lot of Kashmiris look towards Pakistan as sort of like, the front for support. Pakistan, of course, has its own interest in the region. The TRF, the Resistance Front, is a breakoff of the LET, though, the exact details are like, it's complicated, right? Within India, the main resistance front would be the Naxals, who mostly operate in the Red Corridor. Right, so it's like central India, and they're mostly organize a people's war, a Maoist insurgency with peasants. And then in Pakistan, I'm not that familiar with Pakistani politics, but Pakistan's been in a bit of chaos recently. Their leader Imran Khan.
What's your take on that whole Imran Khan shit?
Yeah, Imran Khan was a mixed leader, right? So he came in, he promised like anti-corruption, and he was like a populist leader, right? And to some extent, he kind of fumbled the bag, right? He promised anti-corruption campaigns, but he also didn't do them.
But also, well, one good thing about him was that he was moving Pakistan away from America, right? So after America's collapse in Afghanistan, he very publicly denounced the Biden administration, said that the Biden administration caused this whole mess in Afghanistan. He, when the Ukraine-Russo war happened, he refused to take a side. He refused to take the American side. And suddenly, you know, when America began putting pressure on Pakistan, suddenly, all of a sudden, there was an anti-corruption campaign and a military coup. You know, and so it's like, was it the CIA involved? I mean, I can't officially say, but, you know, right, you know, like maybe 20, 30 years later, we'll find out, you know, probably.
Absolutely. Let's move to India proper, I guess. How would you classify the now long-running Indian ruling government? Some are calling them, you know, Hindutva nationalists, others unnecessary stabilizing factor of, you know, growing discontent, and some a wannabe expansionist power. So I guess for people to properly understand the logic behind, you know, Modi's governance, we need to kind of take a stroll through the history of his party and him as a person and as a politician. So take us on a journey, please.
Yeah, so India was originally like, it advertised itself as secular, right? You know, it's the world's largest democracy, and that was really its big, I mean, that was a big reason why Nehru, who was the first independent Indian leader, that was really a big reason why he wanted Kashmir. It was like a big propaganda move, right? You know, we're this Hindu majority nation. We have this Muslim region. I mean, take that, Pakistan. Like, we're so multicultural and accepting, you know, like, but there was always sort of this Hindu nationalist undercurrent in India, right? And it was called the Hindu Vata. And even like Gandhi, he was assassinated by a former Hindu Vata member. Though, you know, he wasn't officially Hindu Vata at the time, you know, just in case the chuds get in the comment section and they're all angry.
What's I'm gonna interrupt you, sorry. Or you were probably gonna explain it, but still, I wanna make a point on it. Explain what the core, I guess, ideology of the Hindu Vata are. Like, what do they believe? Is it a religious supremacist argument? Is it an ethnic supremacist argument? Is it just, you know, classic nationalism, etc., etc.? Because I'm extremely fascinated with either niche or very large, like in this case, right-wing doctrines. So what do these guys kind of follow? How would you classify them?
Brother, it makes no fucking sense. It makes no fucking sense. Okay, first of all, you know, like modern day India, it really is like a Yugoslavia, I could say. Like that, I think that would get into your Balkanoid brain, right? Like that relates to it.
Like, I understand now, okay?
I mean, there's no way you could tell me that, you know, a Gujarati is like the same as a Tamil, right? You know, these two languages, these two people groups, like, they don't even share the same language, right? You know, it's not even the same language family. And Hinduism itself is not a united religion, right? It's a pluralistic religion. It'll change from region to region. There's like different branches of Hinduism. It's a barely unified religion, right? You know, and so Hindu Vatas, they believe in like both what you're saying, like this ethnic sort of argument of like Hindu greatness and, you know, we're all united by Hinduism. But also they believe that everybody is united by Hinduism, right? So Sikhs, atheists, Buddhists, we're all united by this Hindu greatness. Like, this is the thing that is unifying all of us, this great Hinduness. And a lot of their arguments are based on this very strange reading of Indian history, right? So before the British Raj, India was ruled by the Mughal Empire, and it was a Muslim empire from the Middle East. You know, it's complicated. Their ethnicity is complicated. They were like Persian, Mongols. They were a mix of, I don't know, Central Asian.
Yeah, it's super stupid to apply like modern, usually American-centric definitions of what constitutes an ethnicity or a people to like 1,000 years ago. So yeah, you don't even have to. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And they ruled India through mostly like multicultural empire. I mean, they were forced to, right? You know, so they would have Hindu kings that ruled under them. They would have Sikhs at their courts. And there were a lot, it depends on the Mughal emperor. There were a lot of oppressive Mughal emperors, right? You know, so Jahangir killed one of the main gurus of Sikhism's religion, Arjan Dev Ji. Aurangzeb did a massive genocide against Sikhs. And Aurangzeb is really, you know, their sort of catalyst point because he also suppressed Hindu culture and Hinduism, and he destroyed a lot of Hindu temples. But their reading of history is basically like, oh my God, we've got all these Muslims and we had the Mughal Empire. So we're going to punish the Muslims for what the Mughal Empire did because like they're somehow connected to it, you know, and we're going to restore Indian greatness.
You're gonna call me a Balkanoid, but that's, for example, literally the Serbian argument for killing Bosnian Muslims, because you know Serbia was under 500 years of borderline Ottoman slavery, so which was fucked up, of course. But then why the fuck are you killing John for what Mike did? So we're just gonna go kill, just Muslims minding their own business over there because we're pissed off at what somebody did to us, 200 years ago. It's so fucking copy paste. It's insane.
I know.
The reaction. Continue, please, sir.
I mean, like I said, India is the Balkans of South Asia. Like it is the, Yugoslavia of South Asia. It's barely held together. And the only thing, just like Israel, the only thing holding it together currently, and it was originally secularism, right? And then you can sort of see the failures of neoliberalism, the failures of the non-aligned movement, the logical conclusions of capitalism into evolving into hyper ethno-nationalism. I mean, that's the end result of capitalism, right? Ethno-nationalist fascism, whatever. So Hindu Vata, it started out originally as this very right-wing ideology that was on the fringes, and slowly but surely started gaining ground, especially in the 70s, 80s. One of the first campaigns they went on was protect the cow campaigns, right? So they would go to Dalit communities, they would go Christian communities, they would go to Muslim communities, and it's awful. I mean, it sounds very goofy, right? Like you're murdering and rioting over cows, rumors that somebody ate a cow or somebody killed a cow, but that's legitimately what they were doing. And then, of course, they were also campaigning on building Hindu temples in Muslim regions that they claimed were part of Hindu greatness. And so, the BJP was always and the Hindu Vata ideology, this, idea of Hindu greatness, it was always sort of an undercurrent, right? It was this thing that was basically the idea that we're all held together by Hinduism. And in 2014, it won massively, led by Modi. Modi himself, he was from Gujarat, and Gujarat is, oh my God, I'm so sorry to the Gujus listening to this, but I fucking hate your state. I legitimately hate your state and your people. I swear to God. But the else, I hate you. But no, I'm just kidding. Are
they are they the New Jersey people of India? Or the Moscow people of India, or I don't know what's annoying or the Paris people of India, or it's more of a.
I would say I don't know. Everything I say is gonna start a war.
That's what I'm trying to do. Exactly.
Okay. I would say they are the Texas of India. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Got it. That spoke more volumes than 3 books combined. Thank you. Okay.
Gujarat has always sort of been a Hindu Vata stronghold. Modi, he was since he was 8 years old, he's been part of the RSS, the Hindu Vata movement, and he rose to prominence slowly. And as the administrator of Gujarat, he was part of some very violent riots that killed about 1,000 Muslims. I mean, and that's what the Gujus are always doing. Again, I'm so sorry to the Gujus, but they're always doing mass demonstrations against the Muslims, or keep the Muslims out of this apartment complex or something like that. I don't know what it is exactly about that region that makes it so susceptible to Hindu Vata ideology, but it really is a stronghold. And so, he rose to prominence. He came in a wave in 2014. And that was really, I think, out of the failures of neoliberalism to answer the questions of the Indian masses, right?
neoliberalism, austerity. I mean, it's a tale as old as time. They implement it. They're like pretending to be secular and nice, and suddenly, in order to save capitalism, you have to resort to hyper-nationalism, rabid hyper-nationalism. And so they've been redefining Indian democracy, which has always been secular, as Hindu democracy, right? Like towards Hinduism. And they've been reformatting it towards Hinduism. And so, Modi, he's like done shit like redefined citizenship and done like basically a Muslim ban, like similar to Trump's Muslim ban. He's been ahead of like a couple of riots, especially in 2020, like very violent anti-Muslim riots. I mean, it's basically a tale as old as time. I mean, what else can you say?
Absolutely. And so you're saying that the thing that led him basically to prominence is classic, suffering under neoliberalism, which is answered through a nationalist frame of, it's that particular minority that's a problem, it's that neighbor that's a problem, which then riles up the masses into reaction and builds up a nice, chunky, thick, throbbing voter body to continuously support him. So yeah, another story as old as time. Did he? But he did it much better than anyone else, though. He probably had competition in reaction when it comes to establishing himself. Did he? And this might be too big of a question, I understand. But did he eat up other reactionary parties and reactionary options in India, or was it more of a night of the long knives type of shit, like completely annihilated them and made them politically irrelevant? Did he subsume them?
I mean, the thing is, like, Indian politics has always been sort of dominated by the major parties. Have always been the big major party has always been the Congress Party, and that's like the party that did Indian independence. It was always the secular, like, big tent party. You could sort of say slightly liberal. And then BJP just came up in a wave in 2014. I don't know if there was any like infighting on the right, though. Like, I'm not that in tune with the Indian right, honestly. Like,
no, of course, that's absolutely fair. And you started mentioning some competitors, so let's put on our liberal hats and talk about electoralism for a second. What are the main, basically, competitors to Modi's government? And is there really any competition that offers something solidly different or different in general? Even a pacifying option would be a preferable one to, obviously, the reaction that he pushes.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the big one is, again, I mentioned like Congress Party. It's a big tent, a slightly liberal-ish party. And, I mean, if you want to make the argument, it's like better-ish. I mean, I don't. The other like competitors I can think of are like obviously like the Communist Party is like CPI Marxist, but CPI Marxist itself is it's got problems. It's very revisionist, especially like recently it came out in support of Operation Sindoor, like India strikes against Pakistan. So it's basically Kautsky. It's a bit, like welcome back Kautsky. There's other parties like he really didn't. There's other parties like CPI, Marxist Leninist, which is a lot better. And then there's so many CPIs, bro. There's so many Communist Party Indias, bro. There's CPI Maoist and CPI this and CPI that and I don't know, dude. Like it's and
the classic communist thing to do. We will, for example, disagree on one niche thing, and I'm gonna go fund another party that has 12 members, and we will split our great organization that had 24 up until yesterday. It's the infantile disease of leftism in general that I like to joke with Chad about all the fucking time. But yes, please continue.
Yeah, but I just don't think. I mean, I don't think the BJP is going anywhere. They've got massive support, and they're pretty smart. Like, they will give concessions if needed in order to win popular support. So, I mean, I believe in the last election, there was like even an uptick in Muslim voters for the BJP. And so they're smart enough to, like, even though they're fascist, I mean, fascists will sometimes give, and I don't believe they're like full fascist. I think they're pre-fascist, right? So they'll like give the illusions of democracy still. It doesn't fit like our Palm Dutt's 7 definitions of fascism. So it's elements of fascism, maybe transitioning. But they'll give concessions if needed in order to win over voters. I mean, that's the thing. So they're pretty smart.
Yeah,
they're not going in.
Yeah, they understand that the current material conditions are not so horrendous that they need to pull out the stick all the time. So yeah, I think the classification is really smart. Absolutely. And let's move to the opposite side of the coin. Take us through a very rich history of communist movements, guerrillas, etc., in India. So basically, India is now finally independent from the British Empire, and Marxism starts entering the conversation when it comes to how to properly structure this newly established state, and what kind of events transpire through Indian history up until today. And you can even touch on after you talk about the history, you can even touch on the current communist state that exists inside of India and how that whole thing is set up, your hot takes on it, etc., etc. So blabber out as much info for me in chat as you can, and we will sit here like proper students in front of Preet, the established professor. Shoot.
Okay.
And I'm not going to interrupt you. Only a little bit.
No, you can interrupt me. You can interrupt me, bro. I don't mind. I mean, you're my favorite Balkanoid. Probably second favorite, third favorite. I don't know. You're up there. You're top 10.
I'll take third.
Tito's one. I mean, there's other people too, but yeah. So Marxism has always been strong in the Indian subcontinent, especially towards our independence movements, like independence under the British Raj. And probably the most famous was the HRSA, the Hindustan Socialist Republican Association. And what the Hindustan Republican Socialist Association is most famous for, and this is really the pride of the Punjabi people, is Bhagat Singh. And Bhagat Singh was this like radical who was for violent revolution. He absolutely loved Lenin and the USSR. He was probably like its biggest fanboy. And he is most famous probably for him and his friends like shooting a British police officer dead, right? Like there was a British police officer who had killed another Indian freedom fighter, Lala Rajpat Rai, and they just saw him outside of his police office. They grabbed a gun. They had planned it out, obviously, and they just walked up to him, and then bam, bam, he's dead, and then bam, bam, another one's dead. They actually got the wrong guy. I believe.
Shit.
But
I mean, it's still a cop, but yeah, a British cop on
yeah.
top, in occupied. Yeah.
One of
but
them
here
was
on
British,
Twitch, we do not support
one...
violence against absolutely anyone. Violence is bad, and everything that me or Preet say is in Minecraft. Please continue. It is still Twitch.
Yeah. I mean, they should have. I mean, in my opinion, they should have won with hugs and rainbows and kisses and puppies. Like that's how they should have done it.
That always solved absolutely everything throughout history. Don't you fucking know that? Jesus Christ,
absolutely.
Are you some sort of violent endorsing radical? What the fuck?
Power comes out of. Power comes out of the barrel of the free marketplace of ideas.
Yes, I will steal that. Okay, so they hug a pig. They hugged the wrong pig. Did they later go hug the right pig, or?
No, that dude escaped. He escaped with his life. But yeah, they killed like 2 British police officers, and then they were on the run for a little while. And then there was this Indian Congress that was supposed to meet, right? And it was like a British-controlled Indian Congress, and it was for, I believe, the independence of India, or like how much freedom it wasn't independence of India, but like, are we going to give India more administrative freedom? And during that, they set off bombs in the Congress, right? Nobody got hurt. They threw bombs down, and like a British guy lost his leg, I believe, or he hurt his leg. A couple members went flying and running out, but nothing happened.
And so Bhagat Singh and his cohorts, they got arrested and they got put on trial, right? And they were like, this trial is rigged. This is bullshit. So every time the judge tries to come and try us, we're just going to shout out slogans, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the British judge, he's like this very pompous guy, you know, he's like, oh, order, order. And they would just be all like, you know, like, Hindustan Zindabad, you know, just like yelling out like Inquilib Zindabad, like, you know, just yelling out like slogans over and over again, over and over again. And the judge would get like flustered and he would like literally rage quit the courtroom. Like he would literally walk out for the rest of the session. Like, you know, so they were basically trolling. And then finally, you know, during this whole time, like everybody in Indian society is like appealing to Gandhi, right? Like they're like, Gandhi, please speak about Bhagat Singh. Please talk to him. But Gandhi didn't agree with Bhagat Singh's methods of independence. I mean, it's violence. And, you know, Gandhi and the Congress Party, which were the main front for Indian independence other than the HRSA, they were mostly made up of upper elite compradors under the British Empire, right? So they were mostly the middlemen, the managers, the bureaucrats of the British Empire, and they just wanted India independent so that they could run it themselves. I mean, what else, you know? So he didn't mention anything about Bhagat Singh. He didn't do anything like that of that sort, and so Bhagat Singh ended up getting hanged. And that's like a very big moment in Punjabi history, Indian history, everything like that. After the HRSA, there was also the CPI Marxist, right? So this is India's oldest Marxist party. It was founded in Bengal, I believe, by and one of the major founders was M.N. Roy, who's like an old-time Indian leftist. Though actually, M.N. Roy, like towards the end of his life, he stopped being a Marxist and he started advocating a third way. So I don't know what happened to him.
Classic direction. Yeah. It's more often than not the case, especially with old dudes. So, you know, what I'm trying to say, chat, is don't live a long life. It's bad. You end up hating your heroes. I'm still struggling with Zizek, honestly. Like 80% of my original understanding of ideology, his great contribution to you know, the separate from material kind of metaphysical influence on one's perception of the world, etc., all like core beliefs that I really hold. And now he got old and became literally fucking troglodyted, fucking lobotomized, and I still cannot coincide the two. So yeah, always kill your heroes. We don't fuck with you know, great men of history shit here, etc., etc. But yeah, okay. So
Dude.
He was CPI. Yeah.
Yeah. Drink and smoke as much as possible so you die early and based. You know,
super based.
That's what
I tell Chad all the fucking time. Go touch grass, smoke grass, rolling grass, everything that's grass related.
Yeah. So CPI Marxist was like the big Indian party, and then in the late 60s, it was just under Khrushchevite revisionism. It's not working out anymore. And so, you know, with the Sino-Soviet split, it fractures into like 100 different fucking parties, bro. Like, you know, CPI Marxist-Leninist, CPI Maoist, and out of this fracture,
I've never even considered that. I've never even considered that. Like, you know, I always considered it this. Sorry, the notifications. I always considered, you know, the big breakup. You know, you have a couple that you love both of them, and you're like a friend group of 10 that is friends with both of them. And I always only concentrated on the breakup, but not what happened to all the friends that now have to decide whether they're going with this person from the relationship or that person from a relationship, which I guess massively influenced communist parties all over the world, including in India, on what's your hot take on why they really broke up. Is he the asshole? Is she a slut? Etc., etc. Yeah.
It's definitely CPI Marxist. That's my hot take. You know, it's their fault. That's gonna piss off some people, I feel like, you know. But yeah, no. So like the Sino-Soviet split happens, they break up, and during this time in again West Bengal, I believe I I don't know why. I'm a little bit bad with geography, so chat can correct me. But there was this uprising called the Naxalbari uprising in this town, and it was peasants, and they suddenly became armed against their landlords, right? So it was very based and all that, and that really inspired the formation of the Naxal movement. And it very quickly, it was a Maoist movement. It was based in protracted People's War. It was very heavily inspired by Mao and the Cultural Revolution, all those things. And it very quickly spread to the central corridor, the red corridor of India. And so it spread from Bengal all the way to the central corridor. They started organizing peasants. They started working with local peasants, especially in these like very isolated areas. They started doing violent things to Indian administrators and local politicians and cops. And, you know, I don't have to get too specific on that. And, you know, this is really where a lot of my family, you know, during this breakup of CPI Marxism, and the resurgence of Maoism, this is really where my family became radicalized. And, you know, a lot of my uncles joined the Marxist movement. And so, you know, the Naxals, they have been fighting the Protected People's War for a long time. I mean, recently the Indian state has really ramped up their suppression of them, but they're still going strong. And other than that, Kerala, which is a state in India that's under the a united left front, has also seen a massive upswing of a communist victory. And it's been through a coalition front with CPI Marxists, which is, you know, the original party that everybody broke up with, and a couple other left-wing parties. And Kerala, it's mixed, right? So it has a lot of success stories, right? So it has the lowest illiteracy, it has the highest life expectancy, you know, like they treat their people really well. But the ruling parties leave a lot to be desired, in my opinion, especially CPI Marxists. Like, they have been very chauvinist towards the Kashmiri independence issue. They've supported India's strikes on Pakistan again, so Operation Sindoor. And, you know, like, I found that they really struggle on the international front, right? Especially in terms of the Indian chauvinism front. But in terms of administrating Kashmir...
Do you think it's for pragmatic reasons, and now chat is going to hate me, like racism on pragmatic reasons, hatred on pragmatic reasons? But unironically, I'm asking, because if they do not put at least some sort of rhetorical front of hardcore patriotism, then, you know, Modi will immediately have a much bigger, much larger tool at his disposal to call them domestic traitors, to intervene in the state, to potentially overtake, kick him out, politically occupy, etc., etc. You get what I mean? Because from what you taught me, you know, the BJP, big on, you know, India, Hindu, foreign enemies, domestic enemies, etc., etc. And he probably sometimes talks shit about Kerala and so on, but the amount of shit he can talk is limited by the fact that they put this front of patriotism ahead. That, you know, it's still India number one, we very big, make India great again, etc., etc. Do you think it's pragmatism, or it's actual like you know, we say it like horse with blinders on type of perspective on the reason for the reactionary takes and shit? So is it pragmatism, or do they actually believe it?
Are you paid off by CPI Marxists?
Okay, like $500 a month they sent to my thing ever since I said that you're gonna come on the show. Why is that their argument? Is the CPIM argument similar to what I'm kind of saying? Maybe it is.
You know, the thing is, though, they have like it's going to be hard for Modi to get rid of CPI Marxists from Kerala. They have immense popular support. And even then, like, their recent statements on like Operation Sindoor and like things like that have been so controversial. They've actually been forced to walk back on them recently. So, and they've been able to do that. And, you know, nothing's come down on the Indian state. So I would say it's more of the latter rather than pragmatism. You know, I'm sure you could maybe make that argument. I'm not really sure what happens inside, you know, party meetings, right? You know, so I'm not in tune with all of the, and also, again, like, I'm Northern Indian. I'm like from Punjab. So, and then Kerala is in southern India. So like I might just be like north-splaining, right?
You
Like
don't need to know exactly what is happening. I was just asking for the hot
Yeah.
take, right? So you think it's the latter? Absolutely. Don't
Yeah.
worry. Yeah, you're like I'm a northern Indian. I don't understand what the guys down in Sicily are doing. Obviously, us northern Italians. I mean, northern Indians have do not mingle with them, etc. Sorry, I'm just trying to start a race war here. Go back on the conversation about the communist history in India and Kerala in specific. So you ended on the shitty takes that they've been having and the things that are left to be desired. So from that jumping off point.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, CPI Marxist has really failed on the Kashmiri issue too. Like their stance on Kashmir, I mean, they didn't mention once why Kashmir needs to be free or why Kashmiri people need independence. And to some extent, the Kashmiri situation is complex because there's a region, Jammu, and it's Kashmir and Jammu. Jammu, people there generally are more on the Indian side. I mean, some people in Kashmir, they look really towards Pakistan and they don't want Kashmir to be its own independent place. They want it to be part of Pakistan. It's complicated, right? But, their statement, what it essentially said was like, we denounce these attacks on tourists without like any context as to why they're attacking the tourists, right? And of course, like I don't support attacks on tourists either. But why are they attacking the tourists? Because Article 370 has been revoked because the Indian army acts with complete they're like kids in a playground in Kashmir. They can do whatever they want to the people. They shoot kids who are throwing rocks at people at riot shields. They continually rape and they take land. And if you're a Kashmiri and you're seeing these like Indian fucking tourists every single day coming into your land being like, oh my God, it's so fucking beautiful. Oh my God, like this is the most beautiful place on earth while you're living as like a second class citizen, you would be pissed off too. And so CPI Marxist has really failed on the Kashmiri issue. They've really failed on the petty bourgeois wars issue. So two parties that have been very good on that though have been CPI Marxist Leninist and CPI Maoist. Their statements have been, in my opinion, excellent. They've acknowledged that the tourist attacks was horrific, but that Kashmir needs to be independent. The Kashmiri people have a right to feel angry, and they've also denounced Operation Sindoor. So, I mean, that's where the current Indian communist movement stands. And there's also like Trots. Of course, there's Trots like the SWP and
Do you think it's kind of like Western chauvinism that absolutely nobody talks about the fact that this massive part of a massive country de facto has a socialist government, obviously lots to be desired, etc., but still it's a success to be studied, it's a success to be talked about, looked at, and so on. And yet, like, I would bet $10,000 that 85% of Western communists don't even know that that's the case.
Yeah, I mean, it's both internal and external, right? Because in India, there's such northern chauvinism, right? Like, we don't really... I mean, the movies,
so the allegory I used with northern Italy and southern Italy was correct? It's always the fucking northerners that are elitist for some fucking reason? Okay.
Yeah, especially, I mean, there's like a lot of colorism in India too, especially towards like lighter skinned people. Oh my God, like last time I was in India, I swear to God, I saw the lightest fucking, even I fell into it. I saw the whitest fucking Indian dude ever. I was staring at him the whole fucking, I mean, I came off the plane, like 18 hours, like 20 hours in a plane, and I'm eating Pringles or some shit, and he was pale as a ghost, and I'm just staring at him the whole fucking time. Like, I could not believe they made them in that color.
Maybe it was just a white tourist or some shit. I don't know.
No, he had Indian features. He had like Indian fucking features. He was Punjabi, and he was speaking like perfect Punjabi. Like, he was Indian. He was Indian for sure. I didn't know they made them in that color, dude. But
it's like Pringles.
Yeah, there's
sometimes
just like
there's a rare, what was it? A rare pink one in there.
And so, yeah, he was like the undusted Pringle.
The vanilla, the no spice,
But there's just like a lot of northern chauvinism. Southern India isn't mentioned a lot. You know, the darker skinned Indians aren't shown in like movies. So I think to some extent it is like,
or if they are, they're the background dancers that are like the servants always, or the lower ranked soldier and shit. It never gets any lines in the show. But similar thing happens like everywhere. If you watch Turkish shows, I always like to dunk on Turks. If you watch like Turkish shows, and if you mute them, you'll be like, this is a German show. Like they only and exclusively have these like blue-eyed blonde people as main characters in like 90% of the thing. You're like, okay, that's an interesting approach, I guess.
Yeah. In the Turkish shows, they found like the 5 Greeks who got lost in Turkey.
Literally. There's like a shit ton of traditionally defined as white-looking people in Turkey because Ottoman Empire, Janissaries, fucking taking kids and blah blah blah. And now it's a sizable minority. But somehow whites the Yakubian technology, even when they're a minority. I feel like, for example, Turkey is an example where, there's very pale-looking people that are a minority just, aesthetically or whatever the fuck. And yet they still, through Yakubian technology, manage to be like an elevated cast inside of the country because of their interesting features or whatever the fuck. I swear to God that the white people have been induced with something that most cannot comprehend when it comes to their way to sleaze themselves into privilege absolutely everywhere. Not just white, like paler white. The paler you are, the less I trust you, I guess. Even though I say this as a literal mayonnaise boy.
You're one of Jakob's dissenters. You're the one we'll save when we do mayo elimination. You're the last. You're the last one we'll get. Yeah.
In the racist gulags, I get two portions of that disgusting slop instead of one. Yeah, but okay, back to India, Pakistan. Let's talk about the very recent events. I literally started the stream, I think, and somebody was like, "Yo, they signed a ceasefire," and then an hour and a half into the stream, they were like, "They broke the ceasefire." So I'm like, "What the fuck is happening?" But that's Shat saying. I'm not saying that that's legit news. So, India, Pakistan. Do you see this as their relations in general as a long-term, drawn-out, frozen conflict, especially over Kashmir, or might these two nuclear powers actually hash it out in open conflict? I mean, it wouldn't be for the first time as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, if you go back in history, like 3 out of the 4 conflicts that India and Kashmir have had, India and Pakistan have been over Kashmir. So and that's always been the catalyst. And it's always broken out into a big, wider war. And also, to some extent, the Pakistani government is in a little bit of a crisis moment. It's just couped Imran Khan. It's got a new leader, and he's not that well liked. They really have to bring up the nationalism. And so does Modi, obviously. Modi's been banking on this hyper nationalism. And so, a war would be horrific, right? Like a lot of the strikes between India and Pakistan have been in Punjab. And, my elderly relatives have been calling and they're like crying and they're scared because the internet might be cut off and the phone lines might be cut off. And they're told not to turn on their lights at night. And of course, India struck civilian centers. So I hope that this ceasefire will hold, that it's just, saber rattling, because, total war would be disastrous. This is millions of people's lives on the line. It would be horrific, especially with the technology that we have now. It was actually funny that Pakistan was able to down such advanced. Yeah. Do you know the fighter jets, what they're called?
I'm not sure, but I heard that one of them was French, and it was the first time that was shot down. And apparently the Pakistanis are using Chinese jets or something. But no, please educate me. I have no idea. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the most advanced French technology, and the Pakistanis are using Chinese jets, which
China has been like talking about China's like got like I believe like the 6th gen or 7th gen jets, like while America, dude, they revealed they're like 6th gen or 7th gen jets, while America, and they were flying China, and America's 7th gen or 6th gen jet, we spent $1 trillion on it and it can't even fly. Like, bro, what the fuck?
Classic.
What the fuck?
Or
You know,
when American jets
the-
are invisible, but sometimes certain nations forget and they still shoot them down. We didn't know it was invisible.
Oh, dude, that was such a banger line from the Yugoslav wars.
Yeah,
that was such a fucking banger line.
Absolute classic.
That was, I made a TikTok and I was all like, those Balkanoids shot down that fighter jet with rocks or some shit.
Oh,
Like, I was so racist.
Yeah.
It was so racist.
You are allowed. You are what's the word? You are. What was the fucking term when somebody is? You're an honorary Balkan, my friend. I give you.
Thank you.
Full extent of our limited power. But okay.
I mean, it must have felt awesome. It must have been like a caveman taking down a UFO. You know, like
I guess. Now you're pushing it, but yeah, I guess. I'm motherfucker.
I'm sorry.
We shot it down with our slings and it fell. And that's how we discovered electricity. we like opened it up and we're like, what is this sticking thing? A guy tried to eat the computer. Like, is this edible? Two Americans come out and they're and they're speaking gibberish and we're like, what is this language? We take them to a mental institution because we think they're disabled, like they're insane. It's one of my favorite stories. You know how in the States on like every third corner you'd have some version of an unhinged person talking about this or that apocalypse coming.
Oh yeah.
Either because they're literally unhinged or because they believe in some niche fundamentalist religious fucking text that they found on Amazon. Well, one lady came to. There was a story in the news. One American lady came. I think she was an evangelist or something to preach like on the streets in. I believe it was Serbia, maybe it was Croatia, but it doesn't matter. In our region, and she preached for like 45 minutes, and the passerbys, talking, oh, you must save yourselves, the apocalypse is coming, convert now, or some shit. And people, you would expect, Balkan people to immediately beat the shit out of her. No, quite to the contrary. People were unironically concerned. They were like, this is very not normal. And they called a hospital on her. Like they called an ambulance for her, not a police car or beat her up or whatever. While in the States, every time I went, it's, especially in the big cities, it's so fucking normalized that, there's just fucking dudes standing there being like, the spaghetti monster is slowly creeping up under the sewer, from the sewers, and it's going to eat all of us. Well, we were like, this is not normal. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, why do you think that's like America-specific phenomenon? Because I wasn't aware it wasn't outside of America.
I don't see like preachers on streets. I haven't seen them anywhere, and I've been to quite a few countries. I think it's it's an America thing. But then again, it's an America thing to have to literally step over borderline dying people that are addicted and impoverished, and it's like everyday thing.
Yeah.
Last time I went to New York, like I had to look out more in order to not step on a fucking dying person on the street instead of a pothole. And we were like with these cousins that live there. They've been normalized to the situation. And I was with my partner, and literally in the first fucking 20 minutes, we were like, okay, this is a decaying, dying society. Like this will not proceed for long, not survive for long. Well, they were like, what the fuck are you talking about? No, this is just fucking idiot losers that are just dying. And I'm like, but why are they? Why are there so many of them? Like, but brother, do you have brain? But yeah, that's why it's very specific. Like people just being completely left to their own devices. to the extent that it is so visible on almost every second street in larger cities, is, in my opinion, a very distinct American problem, especially because there are more than enough resources for those people to be taken care of. I'm not gonna, be confused about, seeing people starving in a, on the a very early stage of development, so-called third world country. But when I see it in New York, it's like, the fuck, bro, this place is sick as shit. It's disgusting.
Yeah. Yeah, I also think it's partly due to America's a very mentally ill society just in general. It's just mostly because of American hyper individualism, right? You don't even have in ancient Egypt, there's historians who have talked about there were barely any homeless people in ancient Egypt, and that's because they had community, right? They had a sense of community, family, friends, that. I think that's been completely destroyed in America. I mean, it's such a disgustingly hyper individualistic culture where nowadays most people don't even know their neighbors. I mean, it's I think that's really the root of it, I would say.
It really is. It really is.
Yeah.
And that hyper individualism is obviously because of material conditions, blah, 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 not to be an annoying Marxist, etc., but also to an extent active state propaganda through the 50s, through the 60s of, do not look at the direction that the East is taking, socialism, revolution, etc., Your neighbor is your competitor. The way you see yourself is defined by where you place yourself in the hierarchy compared to your neighbor. Your colleague is not your colleague. He is also somebody you are in active competition against in order to get the next promotion. It's everything is directly rooted in conflict, and the only way one can live with that contradiction is if he, fully envelops himself in hyper individualism, which America and Americans in particular completely excel at. That and the fucking constant fucking need for fucking labeling absolutely fucking everything. It's like the world is not a fucking supermarket, for fuck's sakes, is another very, very American feature that, through globalization or cultural imperialism, call it whatever, is slowly spreading absolutely everywhere. I don't know how it is when you go and visit India, but at this point I'm not living in the Balkans. This is just tiny Yankee land. Everybody's at this point been subsumed in American culture. Still, the individualism has not overtaken as much as and taken a foothold as much as it can, but there's still it's still concerning, to say the least. How is it?
Yeah, I mean, America's a super world global culture. Really, everybody looks towards America, and it's American shows, especially in India, but even in the Middle East, everybody watches American shows, everybody watches American movies, everybody watches it's a global fucking super culture. It really is. And I think to some extent that facilitates an ideological justification for subservience in neocolonialism. At least a little bit, a subservient position to America economically. It benefits it.
It always does. I suffered hardcore from that as a kid because subsumed, in American culture, and the depiction of what American life is exclusively through a screen that depicts, only the urban centers and only wealthier people, etc., And even if it depicts crime is eventually solved by the good cops, etc., I started, to an extent, self-orientalizing, quite literally looking at my own people and considering them just, subhuman to an extent, because what other reason might there be for us not to be as developed as those people over there? Obviously,
you were right.
Yeah,
you were right.
I was right. Yeah, we are all subhuman compared to American from Los Angeles. Absolutely. The peak of humanity is traffic 24/7. The peak of humanity is not being able to walk absolutely anywhere. The peak of humanity is funding a whole city based on making movies about guy in cape fly really fast and the defeat criminal.
Yeah, and we have In-N-Out, so. come at me. You know?
Okay, with In-N-Out you win. With In-N-Out and what was it, Five Guys? That shit's so expensive. What the fuck? The burgers are great. But
I'm not a Five Guys fan.
Really? It's kind of tasty. It's you're gonna kill me. Up until, I don't know, 5 years ago, my main American cultural export that I was obsessed with, KFC, bro. I loved KFC. I don't know why. When I tell Americans, they're like, "That's disgusting. Like that's the bottom of the food chain. Like that's evil shit." But we just didn't have fried chicken here, especially slightly spicy. Now we do. It's kind of coming. I was obsessed with KFC. But now on my last trip, I went to Buffalo Chicken Wings. And I ordered like the spiciest one or whatever the fuck. They put me on some sort of screen. I was like, don't fucking record me. I just want to eat the thing. And the lady looked at me and she was like, there's no way you're fucking eating this. Like, sir, please like order something else. And I literally said, I am not from America. Please give me fucking chicken wings right now. I devoured them. I almost died because they were very spicy, but it was a great experience. So yeah, now it's Buffalo Chicken Wings, but it used to be KFC, which is apparently the worst of the worst. At least that's what JT from the deprogram told me, but I don't know what.
I mean, American KFC is so fucking bad, but like Indian KFC, KFC in other countries, it fucking slaps. But the American branches have been slacking. I feel like,
Okay.
It's been, yeah.
I might have been getting premium quality. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, American food overseas is better de facto. I mean, that's what I've noticed. I mean, I don't believe in like the chemical shit. Like everybody's always saying like, oh my God, these chemicals in America are bad for you. I think that's just like online Instagram health advice. But what I will say is that American brands overseas are 100 times better tasting because they use like real ingredients, like I don't mind.
There's actual regulation, Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think like red dye 40 is going to kill me, but like Indian M&Ms, Indian Pringles, Indian, like all the candy American brands over in India are like, and in Canada too. I've been to Canada a lot. Of course, I'm Indian. They're so fucking good. They're 100 times better than the shit we get in America. Like we get the inferior quality shit, and we make this shit. I mean, it's the fucking worst deal.
Yeah, it's like to an extent, because we mentioned self-orientalization, like it's funny how McDonald's, for example, literally does, but like reverse, like American self-orientalization. It's like for the United States, McDonald's is going to be literally for, I don't know, the hangover guy or the guy that just got off a fucking construction site and he needs to eat something, oily as soon as possible. While, for example, McDonald's, I don't know how it is anywhere else. I've seen how it is. I can talk about the Middle East and Europe. It's fucking not fine dining, but borderline fine dining. It's always in the best location in the city. It's super fucking clean. The McDonald's building is always some sort of fucking art deco shit, etc., etc. So what I'm basically trying to say to you Yanks, even McDonald's, the pinnacle of American existence, said that the inferior version must be given to the American masses, for the American masses do not understand architecture and do not understand hygiene, but the superior internationals shall receive our utmost attention when it comes to our slop delivery. So yes, I am taking the self-orientalization gun and I'm pointing it back at you with a smile. But speaking of slop, let's stop talking about fast foods. I apologize. Yeah. Speaking of slop, is Ethan Gila's husband or is Gila Ethan's wife?
Okay, look, I think Ethan is a liberal Zionist, right? So he was like a young kid. He didn't really know much about Israel, Palestine. He went on, what's it called when they go to Israel?
The
Birthright, right?
Birthright, yes, yeah.
Yeah, he went to Birthright, and Israel is so fucking smart. They'll put like beautiful female soldiers in front of these guys, and they'll hope that it's like a honeypot. It's a honeypot.
Literally,
he got honeypotted, and ever since then, he's been like sort of forced to, and he lived in Israel for a little bit. He's been sort of forced to defend Israel, even though ideologically, like he's like mixed on it. And I watched the Hassan debate with him and Ethan.
Yeah,
it was such a fucking mess because Ethan sold the bag immediately. He sold the bag immediately. Like he's always been sort of playing this like weird pseudo Zionist position, but he's like, yeah, Israel is a genocidal state. My wife's a terrorist. I don't know. It's like, how do I say this nicely without ending up on Ethan's Instagram story? The coochie will destroy your ideological foundation.
Absolutely. It's a hill I will die on. He is the ultimate fucking wife guy. He's been wife guide into supporting fascism, and that is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And then he hired a bunch of rent-a-friends to sit there and agree with him. Not him, agree with the coochie-induced psychosis that he has been. But at this point, we cannot only probably 20% of the reason, Hitler was Hitler is because he had a micro penis and one testicle, right? But that does not excuse the shit that Hitler did. And now I'm not comparing Ethan to Hitler, but what I'm saying is at this point when you're, running defense for an act of genocide for so fucking long, indirectly, of course, like, go fuck yourself. Like, you're done. Like, there's no more room left for us to be, soft and patient and understanding on it. And I never even understood it from the get-go. It's probably because of some fucking, pseudo, like, social relationships that people felt towards this guy that they've been watching for a very long time. So nobody wanted to be hard on him from the beginning. But creators need to be a little bit, agitated. People that fucking talk about the shit on the internet and have at this point pretty sizable platforms. In my opinion, should have been harsh from the get-go. So why do you think that so many like brilliant creators were so patient with Ethan's complete Zionist meltdown? I explain it as like they're chill people. They're just nice, too nice. But come on, you're not supposed to be nice with someone that is so openly fucked. Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's been the staple of the YouTube community for so long. I mean, I'm like an old fan of H3H3, right? Like I've been watching him and Ela since their review of Jack and Jill, right? While they were still living in Israel. So, I mean, he's just such a big foundational part of YouTube commentary, the YouTube culture, the YouTube space, that I think it's almost sort of like attacking Muhammad Ali. It's like attacking one of the greats of your industry. And so even if he was having like shitty takes and he was like devolving ideologically into like open fascism, and the thing is, Ethan and Ela, they used to talk about things that affect normal people, right? Like I remember their oldest videos, they were talking about complaining about how they can't get healthcare, how the rich are psychopaths, they used to talk about shit that like regular people can relate to, like you and me. I mean, you're a little bit elite too. I mean, I don't know. You're a pretty big YouTuber and all that, but mostly regular people. Me and the YouTube king right here. But continue. Slowly over time, especially with the success of their podcast and their channel, they became millionaires. They started raking in I think $30,000 per podcast episode, which is like fucking shit. Insane. Like, especially with their sponsors. They bought a big mansion and they just slowly became disconnected from average people. And also on top of that, like, they were always bad on the Palestine issue. I mean, of course, they were always very chauvinistic. But people were willing to forgive them because they weren't very open about it. Like Ela might mention like one time, like, oh yeah, I went to Nablus and I raided a home and I put the butt of my gun into a guy's head, whatever. And like people were willing to forgive it because like they would also talk about like people need healthcare, people are poor, it's shitty to be a worker, something Bernie Sanders, like they were like pseudo progressives, like BLM, whatever, but like, they're going to remove it like 2 weeks later in the bio. But slowly over time, they became so disconnected from average people. And all that was left, I think, for them was Zionism, like politically speaking. We're like no longer, I can no longer connect to Ethan on anything. I mean, the dude lives in a mansion. He's a multimillionaire and he sort of owned that lifestyle. He's sort of forgotten where he comes from. And then on top of that, all he talks about politically nowadays is Israel, and he's defending Israel with a sort of softcore Zionism, and softcore Zionism is just as bad as hardcore Zionism. I'm sorry, like it's true, especially at this stage in the genocide. Like if you have more shitty words for Palestinian rights activists than Israel, and that's all he does, then go fuck yourself. And so I don't know. There's just it's just been disappointing. The de-evolution's been disappointing. That's all I can say.
Yeah, especially when it's tolerable when it's somewhere in the background, but at this point, one could argue that he is the largest Zionism excuser on the fucking internet generally. So we're not just talking about somebody that's does this has shitty takes from time to time, but somebody who's dedicated the last 365 days plus to agitating in his own way for the state of Israel and everything that it's been doing. Settler occupying entity, not even state. Go fuck yourself. But yeah. I agree completely, and you really underpinned it well with, at one point you're literally sitting on the fucking hill in your massive mansion, and whenever you scream, you only hear your own echo, and then you hire a bunch of dudes that are literally there just to, like when you go to work, that are literally hired just to agree with you, and whenever you read a random Reddit post or Instagram comment, you start losing your shit and then attacking those people through Instagram stories where nobody can reply, etc., etc. It's the perfect storm to become an unhinged advocate for genocide, I guess, and it's a great allegory for why anybody in general, how anybody in general can become a reactionary, because of the kind of cave that you build for yourself. And with that, I think my beautiful, handsomest honorary Balkan friend, we can stop wasting your time and bring this awesome fucking session, at least I enjoyed it, to a close. We learned absolutely everything we will ever need to know about India, about Pakistan, about Ethan Klein, about reactionary stuff. I will no longer be streaming after this. Everything has been learned. We have piqued our intellectual curiosity and satisfied it so much that there is no need to continue any further. Jokes aside, no, you have been a great contribution. I have personally learned a shit ton about the part of the world that unfortunately I'm not as informed on as I should be. Please tell our chat where they can find you. Everybody go follow right the fuck now. If you're not doing so, what the fuck are you doing? And if you have any projects in the work, anything you want to plug, etc., be my guest. Literally.
Yeah, well, first of all, I gotta say, Israel has been blocking off aid and food to the Gaza Strip for 3 months now. My heart goes out to the people of Palestine and Kashmir who are under Indian occupation. On May 17th, there's going to be a protest in LA at the Israeli embassy, and I encourage you to go there and make your voice heard so that we can stop their plan, especially the war minister's plan for the occupation of Gaza, their disgusting plan to put them into a concentration camp. This cannot happen. Other than that, you can find me at the Pokepreet on TikTok. I've been banned like 3 or 4 times, so like I've even forgotten my handle at this point. But Pokepreet, Pokepreet. And then you can also find my podcast, the Pokepreet Podcast, on Spotify, on YouTube, on Apple Podcasts. And tomorrow we are recording an episode with Brett from Rev Left on fascism. So keep your eye out on that. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Fantastic.
Before I go, how hot is Hakeem? Like on a scale of 1 to 10?
He's a 10 out of 10, bro. He's a short king though. But if you're into that sort of kinky thing, then he is an absolute 10 out of 10. He's hot. He's genuinely hot. He's got like super thick hair. He's got really clean skin. He's a hairy motherfucker. He looks absolutely fantastic. He's clean shaven. What else can I say without him literally?
What's his smile like? His smile like? Awe-inspiring?
Awe-inspiring, literally from ear to ear. He is
oh my god,
he's very cute, and he laughs like 24/7, like fucking crazy, non-fucking stop. He's an absolute unit. He is phenomenal. I wouldn't change anything about his pretty face or body or every nook and cranny that I've explored plenty of times.
Hakeem, if you're listening, I can treat you right. Anytime.
I am booting you out of this stream right the fuck now for saying that. Okay, you're not taking my main hole. Okay, and you can't touch JT either. Okay, though
you can have JT.
No. I those are my two main bitches. Ain't no way, bro. Thank you for coming on. Not thank you for all of these insinuations and provocations. Okay, we are a proud throuple. We do not have space for a fourth, but if we do, you would be on the top of the list of applicants. So consider yourself in a privileged position already, because I like you.
I'll take it. Honorary quadruple. Honorary
quadruple. What do they call it? Whatever. Thank you, bro. Go enjoy your day in beautiful sunny LA, and I'll be seeing you. Keep in touch. I'll text you later about when this goes up, etc., etc. Thank you, brother. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye. Up. Jesus Christ, everything is fucking messed up. What up, chat? Did we enjoy that? Because I fucking enjoyed that. That was absolutely lovely. I actually unironically learned a lot. Bulky is very fucking cool. Okay, is chat okay like this? Should be okay like this. We're continuing our interviewing segments. You said you really liked it with Freda, so I'm going to continue it. I'll have a cool guest next weekend, and then every weekend, hopefully, if I manage to organize it properly, I will have a guest on the show, which should be very, 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 very fun to do. Hugo's live podcast, which Toasty told me is apparently just a radio. Well, I guess it is. Can you please fix the program website? We do not have a website, my friend. We don't have a website. What website? Yeah, we don't have a website. What website are you talking about? Send me a link. We just post it everywhere, and it goes up on all the audio platforms. I absolutely loved it. It was one of the first times where I was fully engaged. I'm glad all your neurons were fired up. Anyways, you beautiful motherfuckers, we can finish this video, but before we do, I gotta say a lot of motherfucking thank you. And not only say a lot of motherfucking thank you, but also spend a lot of fucking money. Because here on YugopnikTwitch, for every 10 gift subs, we give another 5. So let me put some crazy music in the background and start the thankathon. True motherfucking true. Okay, when did I start? So after the hype train, after this, where are you? Okay, YugopnikTwitch, we started an hour and a half ago. So, no, that one I said, Jesus, where is it? So, thank you, Pizza Famine, for the 10 gift subs. We got the first 10. Thank you. Stop giving a shit for the 7 months, baby. Thank you. Come on, music start. Come on, I want to make it epic. Thank you, Proletarian Brunch. Thank you, J-Tide. Thank you, Futakuchi Mana. To everybody go follow Futakuchi for the raid. Thank you, Femboy Mao, for the other 10 fucking gifts. I'm going to go bankrupt. Thank you, Jaeger, for a gift sub. We're at 21. Thank you, Matt Knit, for the sub. Thank you, Jaeger, for another gift sub. We're at 22 gift subs. Thank you, Lady DXD and Username, for the subs. We are at 22 beautiful gift subs additional, which means you get another 10. You greedy motherfuckers. There we go. The subscription child soldier Mongol army is truly an intense thing to realize. Is this the site, theprogram.org? Somebody made the site. That's not our site. That's not our site, no. It's not our site. That's crazy. The fuck? That's weird. We have never made a website. Bro, what? The fuck? What? I'm kind of what? I mean, I don't mind that somebody made it, which is fine. Wait, sorry, I'm shook a little bit. We have never made this. Credits for all those involved in the making of the program podcast. The program would like to credit the following people for their contribution. The fuck? Guys, we did not make this website. What is actually going on? And it's got a .org and everything. 2025.
Crazy hamburger! Crazy hamburger!
Weird. I don't know. I was shook. This is Dexter shit. Cease and desist before they turn it into an OnlyFans of you boys. Sus. Yeah, maybe we got an email. Maybe we got an email from whoever made it, telling us that they made it as a gift or something, but I've never seen it. I've never seen it. Are they monetizing over? No, they're not monetizing. No, even if they monetized, we're open to clipping. We're open to I mean, I can't talk about the program. I'm open to clipping. I've never actually discussed that with the boys from the program, but I'm pretty sure they would be very open to clipping and like reposts and shit like that, unless it's like just a full episode being posted somewhere else. That would be fucked up, because the Patreon is the main thing that drives that whole thing. It's like One Piece when the spirit of the Mary repaired itself. Spirit of the D program made its own website. Maybe, I guess we really need to make a website because other people are out there making websites for us. Sus behavior. Very sus behavior. Very, very sussy. Very sussy. Hassan is interviewing literally the fucking the French communist guy. The fuck? That's wild that he got him on.
Ils savent tous la vérité. La vérité, c'est que...
Oh, and they got a translator, bruv.
C'est ça qui préoccupe Trump et les secteurs dirigeants aux États-Unis d'Amérique. Et donc, ils préparent tous, ils écrivent, ils font des résolutions dans le Parlement européen, ils signent des textes dans le cadre de l'OTAN ou des rencontres internationales qui toutes désignent la Chine comme adversaire. Pas Poutine et la Russie, la Chine. Et nous avons, nous, le sentiment que c'est cette guerre-là qu'ils préparent. Et donc, pour l'instant, ils se préparent à être à nouveau tous d'accord avec les États-Unis d'Amérique.
That's insane.
Ils ne préparent pas l'affirmation.
Hassan, the journalist. Look at those white socks, bro. My bro couldn't put on clean shoes, bro. The true people's interviewer guy. Is that Mélenchon from La France? Yeah, it's literally the fucking
and
leftist socialist guy.
The truth is that the next war of the USA is against China. That's what Trump and the ruling class in the
We're gonna get a VTuber. I should get a VTuber soon.
And,
Et les démocrates sont d'accord.
And the Democratic Party.
How the fuck would they interview a VTuber though? Can they like generate themselves into a Discord window?
Preparing for this. They are voting resolution in the European Parliament. Again, they are signing text in NATO meetings or international meetings.
Anyways, I'll see you tomorrow, my beautiful, beautiful, chatty little motherfuckers. This was absolutely lovely. Let us just finish this video, actually. Let us finish learning about the trappings of credit, and then I shall abandon you to watch French guy being interviewed.
Purchasing things so that their money can go and earn them more money while they're paying off.
Don't leave yet. No, not yet, motherfuckers.
But to do so requires some financial education or experience. And sadly, most Americans are completely undereducated when it comes to financial literacy. So the instant gratification syndrome kicks in and they buy practically everything with buy now, pay later, with no real concern that they will in fact have to pay that off at some point. All they're worried about is the price that they will pay today, which is exactly how you end up with this.
I've done groceries. I've done all kinds of crap on Affirm and Klarna. But
groceries on buy now, pay later scheme is fucking dystopian.
Adds up, and then you are in a chokehold. And in some ways, it is worse than having credit card.
Thank you, Burple. That's very kind of you.
Our payments. It's crazy.
Because buy now, pay later is so easy to do, people are starting to use it on more and more occasions where it's really not meant to be used. Instead of just using it on a big purchase like a new fridge or a TV, they're starting to use it on smaller things and truly financing items that have no business being financed. A crazy story that we recently saw is that Klarna is now on DoorDash, which allows you to finance your $15 burrito over 4 payments of $3.75 instead of paying the full $15 up front. Again, not a necessarily terrible thing when looked at in a vacuum, but when you expand this to consider that someone who's financing a burrito is also probably financing a lot of other things, that's when the real problem starts to arise. Bad spending habits like this lead to...
What's up, Kairos Rev? What's up, beautiful fucking Raiders? Hello, hello, everybody go check out Kairos. Thank you. Thank you for the raid, brother.
What we call loan stacking. Pretty much what it sounds like. Taking out loan after loan after loan.
You wouldn't finance a burrito, somebody said in 2012. 2025 comes rolling in and we are financing burritos, brothers.
And stacking them on top of each other. And because buy now, pay later programs make it so easy to do so, most consumers don't even realize how much debt they're actually accruing. In fact, in 2022, 63% of buy now, pay later borrowers had more than one loan going at one time. And this is where it gets really scary. Because these programs are designed to offer credit with little to no approval process, it's almost like they're targeting people that don't know how to manage their money. All they see is, oh, I can buy this $1,000 thing for $250 today, and they just click buy. When in reality, over 69% of buy now, pay later users are already in debt on another credit card. And 28% of buy now, pay later borrowers are between the ages of 18 and 24 years.
So while necessarily the system itself does not have any particular nooks and crannies on how it hooks you and fucks you over, it is incredibly problematic because it motivates people to go out of the boundaries of what they can actually afford and further bankrupt themselves for just consumerism for consumerism's sake.
Years old.
So that's the problem with this.
Most of these people don't even understand.
What's up, Kairos? Hope you're doing well.
Understand the concept of how a credit card works. And
let me VIP you, man. You rated me so many fucking times. You deserve a little thank you. VIP. There you go. You now got that special button next to you.
By giving them this buy now, pay later option, it's almost like they have this unlimited stream of money that never needs to actually be paid off. Again, don't get me wrong. There are definitely some advantages to the system if you know how to play it, but the vast majority of people using the system are not taking advantage of it. They're just getting taken advantage of. So what do you do? As a consumer, should I completely stay away from buy now, pay later, or are there some circumstances where it makes sense? And to answer that question, the most important piece of advice I can give you is to never spend more than you currently have, whether that be through a credit card or a buy now, pay later option. If you don't have the cash in your bank, don't spend it. And that is by far the easiest way that you can keep yourself out of credit card debt. And if you feel confident in your financial abilities, feel free to use a credit card or a buy now, pay later option to earn more interest on your cash while it's sitting in your account versus just spending it immediately. But if you don't feel confident about this, treat your credit cards in a buy now, pay later program.
Groundbreaking advice, right? I would think so as well, that it's like, duh, but apparently it's not for so many Americans, bro. Because like financial literacy doesn't matter. Not going bankrupt doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is that I get my treats, my commodities. Give commodity now.
As if it's hooked directly up to your checking account. If you spend $100, that's $100 coming directly out of your account. Another tip I have is to avoid stacking these loans, because that is where things can get very messy very quickly. If you start financing weekly expenses like gas, groceries, or that Friday night Chipotle bowl, it becomes a slippery slope, because it is 100 times easier to get into debt than it is to get out of debt. But there you have it, the truth about buy now, pay later. These companies spend millions of dollars on psychological research to get you to spend more than
Yeah, understood. A more Marxian take is literally like they're just motivating you to do commodity production, even as the rate of profit declines. What the fuck? Why am I, man? Every time I do the interview thing, it goes absolutely crazy. To just consume, because to consume is to live, and without consumption and constant comparison of your status with the status of your neighbors is something worth potentially even going into bankruptcy for. With that being said, beautiful fuckers, I guess the Balkan scheme thing is really good. I'm gonna keep it for as long as I can afford to keep it, where, you know, for every 10 gift subs I give another 5, because today was extremely productive when it comes to financializing the show, which was sick. Today we explored private credit, and we what do you call it? We talked to a smart person, dear friend, a little bit racist towards Balkan people, but I still respect them. That was a really nice conversation. That was great. It was smooth. Sounds like a snake and deading its own ass. Yeah. Is the program getting sponsors? No, never. What the fuck? No, I'm talking about the stream show. That the program is very financially stable. You know, always better is good, but it's pretty financially stable. We're trying to stabilize First Thought. That's the main thing, because it costs a lot to produce. But still, we will. And yeah, thank you, subscribers. Thank you, fucking Oilers. Literally, like from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Thank you to my lovely cops, the mods. You did really good work today. And I'll be seeing you tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to go airsoft. Oh, then I'm going to come all sticky and sweaty. I'm gonna smell through the camera tomorrow, okay? That's how fucking dirty I'm going to be. And I'm going to see you tomorrow at the same time. Probably, you know, what is it, like 4 hours before this. Gross. So prepare for smelly, stinky boy Hugo for tomorrow's stream. I can't wait, and I'm going to send you to Sean the Black, friend of the show, very chill guy. Go and talk about the internet's latest controversies with them. Make yourself loud, but be respectful, so you get some new chatters over to us as well. And I will be seeing you tomorrow. Please, mods, show them what they need to paste, what they need to copy. Thank you. Thank you very much, Ka. You the best. See you tomorrow. This was awesome.